the week where we see whether or not the Phillies are actually all in. It is trade deadline week on this Monday morning. Johnny, what's up, brother? How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
It is trade deadline week. I'm ready for. I honestly, there are things in sports that I'm looking forward to, like the season coming up. As we are ready for it. There are things that I can't wait to be over.
Speculation.
This is one that I'm ready to be over. The trade deadline. I'm tired of it. I want to get on with it because I can't get over the feeling that I'm going to get kicked in the privates.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
that it's going to be one way or another, Andrew. It's either I'm going to be really pissed that they mortgage the future and throw a bunch of stuff at rental players or something, or I'm going to be really, really just left with Dave Dombrowski doing nothing.
Well, and here's the thing.
Like Luis Robert Jr. is going to roll over, and people are going to be like, wow, he's hitting like 200. Be excited. No, I'm not. I refuse.
My mental fortitude, it stands on this week. Like, seriously.
So you're teetering.
Well, you know how I've felt and what I've been saying for months now, really since the season started, because I hated how this lineup was constructed when the season started.
Right.
That Dave Dombrowski, this trade deadline's make or break for me with him, because he has made a lot of questionable decisions, not just this past offseason before that. There's been a lot of running it back. This core that we've seen has been here for many years now.
It has.
And there have been a lot of questionable decisions. That does not mean I think Dave Dombrowski stinks. No, he's built a team that has been perennial contenders, right? World Series in 2022, NLCS in 23. As many wins as they had last year, just the way that it ended was extremely disappointing. And we see them toward the top of Major League Baseball again this season. So this baseball team is solid, but that does not mean I can't question a lot of the decisions that Dave Dombrowski has made, to the point where I think they've lost games or lost seasons because of the questionable decisions. This team that is good enough to get you to the playoffs still, in my opinion, is not good enough to win you a World Series. The rotation is, but everything is not. Everything else is not. That open that you heard when we talked about those guys in the middle of the order, those guys are Otto Kemp and Brandon Marsh, who just last week were batting 5th and 6th in a game. Like, that's horrible. Obviously, there's injuries because of it, but that does not scream World Series contender. They can change that. Dave Dombrowski can change all of that in the next 3 days.
And honestly, you got to get Brandon Marsh off my baseball field. Again. We saw it on Saturday.
What was that?
Little league play. It's like he has no instincts. He has no idea. He has no awareness on a baseball field. He doesn't know how to break on balls. He doesn't. That was
injuring teammates.
That was ridiculous on Saturday. That was ridiculous. It needs to be over. This needs to be done. And the trade deadline is the last excuse for it. It needs to be either your star center fielder from the minor leagues who have been dying to have his opportunity at the majors. He needs to be up here by the end of this week, and he needs to be playing 5 times, 6 times a week. Or there has to be a deal that brings in somebody who is distinctly better. Distinctly.
Yeah.
And it's not Luis Robert.
No.
Who is a stiff, an absolute stiff. He should not even be talked about as some sort of should the Phillies be pursuing him? He's terrible. Atrocious player. He's worse than he was last year when they talked about him.
Now, a few minutes ago,
my gosh,
you mentioned how you could be really upset either if Dave Dombrowski does nothing or if he goes all in on a rental.
And not all in, meaning all in. It depends on what we're talking about being all in.
Right, like Andrew Painter's not being traded for a Eugenio Suarez. He's not. But you might have to give up a lot if you are interested in this 34-year-old upcoming free agent who mashes. And John, he's what this lineup needs. And that's why I am not afraid to. And I know, I get it. I don't care about prospects, blah, blah, blah. I would get into a bidding war for Suarez because of what this lineup desperately needs, Johnny.
Okay, I was in bed by 8:15 last night. I was absolutely crashed from a big day Saturday. So I was like tired. I said, I'm going to bed early. Before going to bed, I was having a text conversation trying to get some information from a baseball exec. and I proposed a deal. And I said, could Abel and Miller get you Suarez? Do you believe to this baseball exec? And he told me, that's too much. And I was like, oh, so immediately I look at the first line. I'm like, that's too much. And he goes, that's too much. You've been in sports talk radio too long. What I'm reading, what I'm seeing on TV, and more importantly, what I'm hearing on sports talk radio is inflated prices over the reality of what he's hearing.
Right.
There will be a bidding war for Suarez.
Absolutely.
There will absolutely be a bidding war. But the prices he's hearing in the media, he believes is inflated over what is the reality. So, what we have to give up, I'm not sure. But much like the last few trade deadlines, top prospects have not been flying at the trade deadline, especially for rental players.
Well, especially because of the reality of the rental player. The reality is, and especially a 34-year-old, right? Like, Suarez is having a tremendous season. How many more tremendous seasons does this guy have left?
Now, the weird thing is I don't give a damn about the age of a rental player.
No, I got
you. To me, the age of a rental player means nothing. You could be a rental player at 28 or a rental player at 34. He's putting up the numbers he's putting up. I will drive to Arizona. Tell me when to leave. I will drive to Arizona now. I love to drive.
Now, we've done that before. Let's keep you here.
Yeah, I seriously, I would absolutely pick him up in a second and bring him back. But I do not want to mortgage. Like, if it was a high price, I don't want to do it.
So what's a high price? You already were told by this executive that Mick Abel and Aiden Miller is
he thinks
too
that's
much.
too high. He thinks that deal could definitely get done.
Now
he thinks that could get done. Like if you offered that,
it would get it done. But
he thinks that would get it done. But he thinks you'd be overpaying.
So in case people were not following along over the weekend, Eugenio Suarez, who is the 34-year-old third baseman, Gino, who has 36 home runs. You're Mr. Proper Name guy. All of a sudden you want to call him Gino.
Well, Gino. They call him Gino. They call him Gino on the broadcasts.
I don't listen to Arizona broadcasts, John.
Well, they call him Gino on the broadcasts. They call him Gino.
Anyways, Gino, we knew has become available for weeks now when the Diamondbacks sort of started falling out of their division race. And the Phillies were never really mentioned. It was more so like a dream, right? We were looking at a guy that was going to be available that fits a need for this baseball team, which is right-handed pop. He plays a position where the Phillies could get creative. If he plays third base, Bohm could go to first, depending on how injured he is when he comes back. Bryce Harper could go to the outfield. We saw Kyle Schwarber play left field this weekend. So the Phillies could get creative if they were able to acquire Suarez, who could also be your DH, which is why I mentioned the Schwarber factor. But it felt like a dream. This weekend, it was finally reported by people from Arizona, by people nationally, and also by people here locally in Philadelphia. I saw Scott Lauber reporting it, that the Phillies are in on the trade talk for Suarez. But one of the things I saw is that the Diamondbacks want starting pitching in return, and it has been reported that Diamondback scouts were at Mick Abel's previous AAA start.
Correct. And Mick Abel is a guy they are interested in.
So I know you've been.
By the way, they've been at 2 starts.
Okay.
I was able to track down 2. They've been at 2 of Mick Abel's starts.
I know you've been very high on Mick Abel.
Done.
Okay.
Gone.
All right.
And now, what are you tacking on to Mick Abel is where you and I can discuss.
Right.
If we're talking about adding that bat to this lineup and you're starting with Mick Abel, you and I start on a very common ground this morning. I'm willing to do it.
How creative could this Phillies team get? We'll go through that coming up next. We'll talk to Connor about it as well, Mr. Locked On Phillies podcast over there. I'm Mr. I don't care about prospects, so bring him home. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ray Dunn, Mike Missanelli.
He's celebrating a home run.
On the Diamondbacks. That might
I'm
be
in.
easier for a lot of people
I'm in.
Philadelphia.
I'm totally in when you Connor, I did not expect to have a reasonable conversation with my co-host today.
Why?
Because I didn't think you were going to be. If you start with Mick Abel, now I wonder how reasonable it's going to get. If it's Mick Abel, and then we're talking about that for a
Painter,
rental player.
Miller, Abel for Suarez. What do you
Yeah,
think?
exactly.
Andrew's giving BOGO prospects. Buy one, get one.
Now I'm wondering because I have a feeling that Connor's going to have to help me out when you come with your proposal.
Well, I don't
Of what
necessarily
you're willing to
have
give
a
up.
proposal, but I imagine an infielder would also be in the deal. So let's say it's a Mick Abel and the Arun Escobar, who's the fifth prospect,
I would
who's one spot ahead of Abel.
Done.
Because he's 20. I'm never going to see this guy play.
Goodbye, Connor. We done?
Yeah, I got no issue with that.
Done.
I think you might be able to get it for less, but it's going to be
I
a
think you
competitive
could maybe
market.
get it for yes, but that would be.
Probably, yeah.
But I'd be done.
I'm not a GM. I just value guys that are actually in the majors
All right, well,
and are
then-
actually
then-
good, and
then
that's who Suarez is.
Then we're absolutely like we're done here. Like we're finding common ground.
Is Mike ready to do a show?
We're finding common ground on a Monday morning where we're all pretty much in agreement. Go further, and we have issues.
All right, well,
I am not going Abel Miller. I'm not getting into a bidding war, which is your
Well, I'll get
point.
into a
I'm not
bidding
getting
war.
into a bidding. No.
Well, John, a bidding award doesn't necessarily mean you're giving up to Painter or Miller.
No, well, we said what it was. I said I'm willing to go to.
Okay.
If you said to me, you're sending another marginal, a prospect that we know nothing about, then I'm fine. But I'm not in any way going into, we're going Abel, we're going Miller, we're going more.
Top three guys off the board. Period.
Okay, well then that's
For a 34-year-old rental, yeah, top three guys are off the board.
okay. Well then we're in, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not even starting with Escobar in that deal. I'm doing like Brian Rincon or something.
Well, and that's
Like,
why I say I am in a bidding war, because if that's not enough for them, and then you go, all right, well, how about Arun Escobar, or how about Eduardo Tate? Like, I'll get to talking. Like, you know how I feel about prospects. I might never see these guys even after this trade deadline. Let's say Eduardo Tate, who's 18 years old, doesn't get traded this trade deadline. He could get traded the next one or the one after that. I don't know. Like, these guys, we rarely see these prospects that are everybody's touting for years actually become some sort of impactful player. And that's why I want to go for the proven player. Now, here's the deal. When I mentioned the Phillies could get creative, I do hesitate with the Schwarber in left field thing. Like, I don't want to see that. When I think of
he should not be there.
when I think of creative, I think Bohm the first, Harper to right, Castellanos to left. I do not think of Suarez as your DH, which I know he's not the best fielder. I understand that. Bohm, who has gotten much, much better from where he used to be, I've seen them win games with not the best third baseman. Trey Turner's been playing a good brand of shortstop this year that I think I could get by. I worry about playing Schwarber for the rest of the season every day in left field. That's just not something that I want to mess around with.
No, I feel you. Now, what I will say is that a version of this team with Kyle Schwarber in the outfield went to the World Series.
Yes,
right. So it can be done, but I understand wanting to find a solution that's better for. Like, that's not my first pick. If that's what happens and you strongly add to this lineup, I think it can be done. But I'd rather see them do the Harper Castellanos in the corners.
Yeah, and look, it's not good. Suarez has 12.
He's a butcher.
He's 12 errors.
He's
at
a butcher.
third base this year.
He's not good.
Right. So Bohm.
You're taking a back. Your defense is going to take a slip. By the way, at both corners, because I don't think Bohm's going to be able to field the position as well as
Harper. You're right. You're right. He's not a Gold Glove candidate.
Yes.
Right. Bryce Harper is literally won Gold Glove. So I mean, there is a hit there, but I need this lineup to have life. This lineup. You saw what it was able to do in games 1 and 2 against the Yankees in the series. I can't just expect that to happen all the time. Game 1, where they scored 12 runs, Real Muto was your 5-hole hitter who had a big home run that game. I can't go Marsh, Kepler, Kemp, Sosa, Stott. Like, I can't do that for the rest of my lineup for the rest of the season and into the playoffs.
Let's just talk baseball theory for a second, though. If you had to pick a position defensively on the field to be the weakest on a team, it would probably be left field.
no question.
Yeah, corner
left
out.
field. I'm not even. The Phillies won 2 World Series with 2 horrible left fielders.
Yeah, so maybe the best
don't
solution
worry about
is Schwarber left, and you take a hit there, but you keep Harper at first, you get good defense. You keep Bohm at third, you get solid defense. Suarez goes to DH, and you live with that. And then you have to make a defensive improvement in center, which would probably be calling up Crawford.
Right, and
but that works for me.
Like I gave you guys, it wasn't that long ago, a couple of weeks ago, where I did the lineup where I made the mock trade for Suarez. Crawford got called up. You guys, we started salivating, right? Like there is still a chance there. Now, at that time, I thought Bryson Stott was going to be somewhat of a Major League Baseball player. He actually had a good weekend against the Yankees, so hopefully he starts to turn the corner a little bit. Maybe it was the maybe having a son. I don't know.
Could have been.
Maybe there was the stress of having a pregnant wife. Maybe
Could have been.
Maybe that's what it
Absolutely.
was. I'm not entirely sure.
That can be. Could have. You don't know because you don't live someone else's pregnancy.
Right. I have no idea.
You know what that's
and
like.
Since I remember how sick my wife was. So maybe, and since dropping him down in the order to the 9-hole spot, he's been hitting the ball a little. He's been having better at bats.
A little bit better.
We've seen him hitting the ball.
I still am done moving forward, but if you can't move alpha of them this year,
I've never said DONE. I've never been done. But I would platoon for the remainder of the season.
Oh no,
absolutely.
I think that's absolutely done.
All right, so coming up next is going all in worth it for the 2025 Phillies, especially when you look at the other teams in the 2025 season of Major League Baseball in the National League. It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils go bombing in the Bronx. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies, they took 2 of 3 from the Yankees up in New York over the weekend. This update is brought to you by Groundworks, your trained and certified experts for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. And the Phils scored 24 total runs in their series with the Bronx Bombers, but were unable to complete the sweep yesterday. Zack Wheeler struggled a bit in his start, but taking 2 of 3, winning another series, you will take that as they continue to stack those up. With the trade deadline on Thursday, we'll keep you updated on what the Phils and Dave Dombrowski will do to improve the roster. A lot of rumors flying around out there. We'll be talking about all of them. They're heading to Chicago tonight to take on the White Sox for 3 games. Game 1 is at 7:40. Christopher Sanchez faces off against Davis Martin. Also, Phillies legend Dick Allen was enshrined in Cooperstown yesterday as the Baseball Hall of Fame welcomed their latest class. The Eagles continue training camp today. New offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo talked Saturday about his adjustment to his new role with the team.
It's been fun. It's really not much different. It's probably there's a little more just talking to everybody, but overall it's about the same. But I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the energy's been great.
We'll hear from head coach Nick Serriani coming up today at 9:30. This update's also brought to you by the local Ream Pro partners at thereemteam.com. When you want your home to feel like a dream, it has to be Ream. Stay cool with a high-efficiency AC system from Ream, RHEEM. Find your Ream Pro partner at thereemteam.com. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
Eagles defensive coordinator
week. Gino Suarez, Eugenio Suarez.
Eugenio.
Are you all in? Because I am. Prospects be damned, but I also know that there's a line for a rental. I'm not giving up the top 3 guys, but
You do agree, though. I know Connor was wagging his head up and down. I don't give a damn about player's age on a rental player.
no, I got you.
Yeah, rental player, 30 people are like 34 years old. I don't care.
Bro, he could be 70. If
I
he's
don't care.
hitting this year,
He's
add him to
hitting
the
this
baseball
year.
team.
I only have to worry about him till October, and the Phillies will not. I would think would not be paying him, would not be extending him, would not be the team where he would be coming.
No, probably not.
I wouldn't think so. But
Unless they do it for a year.
well, we
and they
already
move
know
on from somebody
well,
else.
he's going to get more than a year. After these numbers, he's getting more than a year from somebody, and I don't know if they're willing to do that or not. We'll
There's
see.
a lot of teams without a great DH out there that
Yep.
would pay a
Yeah,
guy
That's
like that.
true. And
Exactly.
a right-handed power bat. Oh wait,
I
that's
got to
the-
figure he
that's the
gets
Phillies.
I got to figure he gets 3, and I don't think that the Phillies have a clog up of a bunch of guys who could all be their thing. And if you're going to try to sign. If you're going to try to sign JT after the last month, I guess you're going to try to sign JT, then you're not going to have the money to sign him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough. Real quick, before we get to this Phillies discussion, because you sent a very interesting email about one of our topics. I saw a tweet from our buddy Raider Frank over the weekend.
He was prolific this weekend.
Yeah, yes, he was.
Raider Frank.
But I'm not necessarily talking about his tweets about the Phillies.
Okay.
I'm talking about his tweet about another baseball team. That a lot of people, if they don't like it, are very vocal about it.
Okay, what's that?
And I just wonder why.
What's that?
The Savannah Bananas were in town.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, I saw Raider Frank talking about it, and I don't get it.
So he put out a tweet. I was offered free tickets to the Savannah Bananas today at Citizens Bank Park. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm not a fan of the circus at all. And if I want to watch clowns in the outfield, I'll stick to watching Brandon Marsh play, which is a great line. And I give him a lot of credit for it.
Well, it is. I mean, that's a great line because the Bananas actually fundamentally, even playing banana ball, are more fundamentally sound than Brandon Marsh is.
And
Who has
not killing their
literally has-
teammates.
and it pains me because as I said, I've watched Brandon since high school. And I really enjoy him, but it's terrible to watch him play baseball anymore.
And nobody give me the whole, well, he's not used to playing left field.
Give me a
Stop.
freaking break.
Why is there so much hate for the Savannah Bananas?
I have no idea because if you don't here's the one thing I always know is that I don't like what's the show you guys watch that my wife watches?
Game
The
of
one-
Thrones, just a guess.
the spin-off of the Game of Thrones.
The House of the Dragon.
Okay, I don't watch
The
the House
prequel.
of I don't watch the House of the Dragons. You guys love it. My wife loves it. My daughter loves it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys watch it. I'm not I just don't like shows like that. It's really easy for me to not watch it. And I don't have to rip it.
Right.
It's really easy for me to avoid it.
Yeah.
It's really easy for me to and since I don't watch it and don't invest in it, I really try to avoid not having an opinion on its quality or otherwise since I don't watch it.
And by the way, the people that do go to it love it. And how many
exactly.
people go to it? Sold out stadiums go to
Exactly.
it.
I mean, the Savannah Bananas, I got to tell you, I've been twice. It is freaking amazing. I've seen them small stadium. I've seen them large stadium. It's amazing. It is fun. It is engaging. It's awesome. They have a great thing. But if you're not interested in that, it's really, really easy to avoid
Yeah,
it.
just leave it
And
be.
by the way, the ladies love them. They are huge fans of the Savannah Bananas. It's awesome. It's really easy. And the thing is, to bag on stuff that you don't invest your time in is different. To be like, I don't want to even give it. You got to give it some time. If I want to critique the WNBA, I got to watch some of it.
right.
Got to watch some of it. Got to invest my time. When it's on TV, I got to watch some of it. Because if you've never watched, if you've never looked, if you think, I know it's not for me.
Right.
My daughter, as I said again, she wants to be a season ticket holder when the Philadelphia team comes.
Correct.
I think that's beautiful.
It's awesome.
It's
and
really
you'd be happy for her that she has this interest, and
correct.
you're happy for her that she loves
and
it.
it's really easy for me to if I don't want to be, I don't have to be.
That's the thing that I don't get. And
I don't understand that
Mikey
either.
Miss on Friday, I was talking to him. You know, he was like, yeah, man, the Savannah Bananas. It's a mockery to baseball. Baseball's the one sport. It can't be a mockery.
Wait a minute. Now, here's what I asked to all these people. Is the Harlem Globetrotters a mockery to basketball?
Baseball's the only pure sport that you can't make a mockery of.
Crap.
And I said
that is such a load of crap.
And I said to Mike, I was like, look.
Such a load of nonsense.
I am also a baseball purist. I get it. But the things that they do, you cannot say are not extremely impressive. When a ground ball is hit to a shortstop and the shortstop bounces the ball between his legs to then fire a great throw to first base, that is impressive. And oh, by the way, I love the Harlem Globetrotters. My dad took me when I was a kid.
Entertaining as hell.
I have the basketball. It was the 80th anniversary. I still have it. I saw it. I cleaned out my basement yesterday, and I found it. Man, those buildings aren't selling out anymore.
They aren't. And they're getting like 4,000 people, 5,000 people.
The Savannah
Bananas are selling out. They sold out
the football stadium.
90,000 people, 95,000 people at Death Valley at Clemson.
I think that's amazing.
95,000 people. This is a phenomenon. And it's fun. And more importantly, it's really easy if you don't like something. But if you're not going to invest your time in it, why do you care if your neighbor does?
Right.
Like, and more, the pure sport? Come on, Mikey Miss.
Yeah, we're a pro-banana show here on the morning show.
You mean the pure sport where we have guys in the Hall of Fame who literally are in the Hall of Fame because they doctored baseballs on purpose, because they put Vaseline on baseballs and then literally made ESPN commercials about it, joking about it, like where everything they touched, they stuck to? I mean, like where they corked bats, where they took steroids, where they did... Baseball hasn't been pure as long as Mike has been alive. Baseball's never been pure. So it's ridiculous.
If you went over the weekend, because I know they played 2 games, so if you went to one of the 2 games, give us your experience. We want to hear about it at 610-632-0975. And if you are one of those people who are anti-bananas to the point where you have to make your voice heard, tell us why. Like, why does it bother you so much?
I'm going to tell you a little bit. I think it's the fact that there are some guys who didn't make it to the majors. They all played collegiate or minor league ball, every one of them.
Yeah.
And I think that they're attractive guys.
And they found a job out of it.
They found a job that did it, and the women love them.
Maybe.
And I think there's a little bit of envy.
I don't know.
Little bit of envy.
I'm curious from the banana haters.
I think there's some envy going on.
Why? All right, Johnny, so you sent me an email.
Yep.
And you were looking at the standings yesterday before you had your nice dinner with the family.
Yes.
And
out in the borough. The borough was hopping last night.
It almost seemed like you were questioning what was real and what wasn't.
Yeah. Yesterday morning, so yesterday before any of the games were played, the Dodgers had 61 wins. The Mets had 61 wins. The Cubs had 61 wins. The Brewers had 61 wins. The Phillies had 60 wins. So the top 5 teams in the National League all were separated by a half game. 4 were tied. 1 was a half game back to Phillies. That's changed a little bit today with some win changes.
Yeah, Mets have 62, Cubs, Brewers 62, Dodgers 61, Phillies 60.
We're heading to the trade deadline, and everybody's bundled together. And I want to ask people because I don't believe what that says. I don't believe what those numbers say. Those numbers say all 5 of those teams are all equal. Equality. They're all together. I don't buy it.
All right, so what is it that who do you think's better? Who do you think's worse?
Well, to me, I look at it as the Dodgers have been ravaged by injury.
Yeah, the fact that they're 61 and 45 with everything that they've dealt with this year shows you how dominant of a baseball team that is, and that's why I keep on saying they are the best team in the National League.
And to me, the Dodgers 61 is more admirable what they've managed to accomplish with their 61. I look at the Phillies 61 as a missed opportunity. I look at the Phillies 61 as it should be more. I look at the Mets opportunity as 61. The Mets have battled through incredible injury, and they're ahead of the Phillies.
Well, and that's why
I see wasted opportunity on the Phillies' part.
Well, and that's why the trade deadline conversation is so much more different for the Phillies than these other ball clubs that you just mentioned. These other ball clubs are looking to add or to tweak, right? The Phillies are looking to restructure.
And to me,
you know what I mean? Like the Phillies need a facelift.
Now, to me,
like you got.
The question is, yes, as that listener asked, did you get a facelift? What I would say to you is this: if your team needs a facelift at the trade deadline, then that's a team you're not buying into.
But I am buying into them.
You're not, though. You're what you're
this...
buying into is the facelift. You're not buying into the team. You're buying into a team that needs an overhaul.
Yes, but the reason why I'm buying into it is because they are at this point with a team that I've kind of not liked all season long. So let's talk about that coming up next. Text in at 610-632-0975. You heard John mention those teams. Mets, Cubs, Brewers all have 2 more wins than the Phillies. Dodgers have 1, and the Phillies have 60 wins. They're all in that same spot. Who's real? Who's not? And because the Phillies have maybe a lot of missed opportunities, does that make you think they're more real or less? Talk to us. 610-632-0975. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Ricky Bo, Bill.
Look at the standings around the National League, and you see that the Phillies are with the Dodgers and with the Mets and the Cubs and the Brewers. What's real, what's not? And again, John, I don't think you're wrong that these 60 wins is almost feels like they've left a lot on the table because they have. Their bullpen has blown a lot of games. Their offense at times has gone dead silent. Why? Because you have Brandon Marsh batting 6th on this baseball team.
And playing in your outfield.
And playing in your outfield. That's why this team needs to buy into this trade deadline because your 60 wins is in large part to your incredible starting pitching. What you've gotten out of Zack Wheeler, what you've gotten out of Christopher Sanchez, what you got early on out of Jesus Luzardo. That's obviously taken a step back recently because my man doesn't know how to pitch out of the stretch, apparently. We'll see what Aaron Nola brings you when he comes back. But because of how good your top 2 guys are in the rotation, and I didn't even mention Ranger Suarez, because of how good those 2 guys are, I've kept the same energy for a few months now. I can't let that go to waste. And their starting pitching is better than what the Cubs will give you, better than what the Brewers will give you, better than what the Mets will give you. The Dodgers, health-wise, is the only issue for the Dodgers.
I will be tuned in this afternoon to Unfiltered to hear Ricky Bo, because I don't know if you tuned in yesterday and saw a postgame with Ricky Bo.
I did not.
Ricky Bo has serious concerns about what he's seen from Zack Wheeler the last 2 outings. In fact, I'll quote Ricky, because I wrote it down.
Please.
He said those are 2 outings from him as far as his control that he has not seen in a Phillies uniform.
Okay.
And he's concerned about it. He's actually concerned.
I think Ricky would also be the first person to tell you if there's anybody that could fix it.
Oh, no.
It would be Zack Wheeler.
No, he's not saying that but he's concerned about Zack Wheeler 2 starts. I personally go, okay, I saw Zack Wheeler give up 4 yesterday, and that was a horrible inning.
Yeah.
That was a terrible
inning.
But I also saw Zack Wheeler then lock it down and not give up anything else.
Yeah.
But Ricky, a guy who knows pitching extremely well, has much deeper concerns that I have with just the naked eye as an absolute amateur evaluator. So I will absolutely be tuned in today to Unfiltered to hear more of his analysis of worry there because that concerns me.
Okay. No worry. And you know what they could always do? Oh, Zach, take a week off. 2 weeks off.
Can they?
Yeah, they've done it already.
Okay, what's the rotation then? If you do that, what's the rotation?
You got your Sanchez, you got your Suarez, you got hopefully Nola when he comes back.
What is that? Then you don't have a rotation. You can't do that. What are you talking about?
I saw them do it in 2022.
But you can't do that. You don't have the other guys. This team doesn't have. We thought this team had a rotation like that. This team doesn't right now. This team doesn't. We thought this team had an embarrassment of riches in the rotation as far as just bodies. Oh, my gosh, they have so much starting pitching. They don't. They really don't.
Well, Sanchez, Suarez, and
no, it's fantastic.
That's a pretty good start.
Hey, Wheeler, Sanchez, Suarez is awesome, but not when you lose one of them, because then you've got 3 holes.
I'm not worried about Zack Wheeler.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, I love you, Andrew. I'm going to take Ricky Bo's point of view on watching Major League pitching and go, okay, I'm going to listen this afternoon because I'm anxious to hear what he has to say. And he wasn't saying, man, sound the alarms. No. This is going to be a problem. But he said, this is something he's never seen from Zack Wheeler.
Okay.
And by the way,
when he bounces back in his next start, I'll just say, that's
hopefully it is.
Freak out.
Hopefully that's the case.
Zack Wheeler's a guy that I just have immense confidence in.
Yeah, it would take a lot for me to be concerned about Wheeler.
With all due respect to Ricky Bo.
And again, you guys, I'm going to take a Major League pitcher's point of view.
You like to side with
I'm going to take
them,
take the educated eye over the non-educated eye more. I'm going to not just the hunch.
These eyes are educated.
Then what's the point of sports talk?
No, it's not. No,
Ricky Bo knows more than the conversation's over.
When it comes to that conversation, yes. As far as being concerned, yes. He's mildly concerned because those are 2. Last Monday night, same thing. He didn't look himself. But it also could be that they decided to give him 2 weeks vacation in the middle of the baseball
Ranger
season.
Suarez didn't look like himself in his last start
look
either.
good.
You know, who knows? All right, what do we got on the text line? I know somebody's chimed in about the Savannah Bananas. And then I saw something on our YouTube chat that I want to bring up as well. What do we got?
Yeah, so we have a check-in from Eric in Virginia who actually saw the Bananas recently. He says, folks need to stop yucking someone else's yum. Went to the Bananas in Norfolk last Thursday for the first time. I'd go again. There's nothing wrong with what they do for baseball.
No,
It's awesome.
And look, even if he went and didn't like it, it's still going to sell out in every single arena that they play at.
By the way,
I haven't seen them in person, and I honestly wasn't like, oh, I got to get out there. It's not necessarily something that I like feel the need to see. I will probably I'll probably take Coop one day because people love it. Clearly, people have a good time going to these games.
you would Cooper, and you would love it.
Yeah, it'd be a blast.
I mean, seriously, would absolutely love it. It's fun. The music's lively. The crowd's into it. There's all these kind of games that you. There's all these kind of like little shticky things that the people who are bananas they call, I forget what they call them, that that they know that are part of the shtick of it that you pick up on.
Yeah,
that they do. It's fun.
Yeah, I saw our own Brendan Petrelli was in action. He was there, and he left a review, and he basically said, "There's always something going on, even in between innings. Like it just flies
fun.
by. Like
And
I don't know why people would like freak out so much."
By the way, the Bananas have sold out 60,000 seat stadiums over and over and over again everywhere that they go.
Right.
Like the WNBA, which is constantly told, this is the next big thing, is averaging 11,000 fans, which is big, by the way, which is double what they averaged 2 years ago.
Why did they catch a stray?
No, but I'm just saying to you is, if people are telling you the WNBA is the next big thing, the Savannah Bananas are selling out 90,000 seat stadiums.
Got it.
80,000 seat stadiums. They are a bigger thing nationwide than the WNBA. The Savannah Bananas. Take it into consideration.
But I'll just say for the same argument, if somebody likes it,
Right.
enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
And that's all.
Just
that's
enjoy
all,
it.
That's all I care about.
I love
being
it.
happy.
Don't yuck someone else's yum.
Yeah, now what I will say is I'll take the trip to the Bronx this weekend over the Bananas.
Yeah,
Well, then that's
I
it.
agree.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm sorry,
that was a fun road trip if you went Friday or Saturday.
real baseball greater than fake
Wait a
baseball.
minute here. Here's
Like, period.
Here's the whole thing, though. Mike I can't believe Mike with the pure baseball. Mike, Ghost Runners? Ghost Runner on second base? Pizza box bases? Only being able to throw over twice to first base? Come on.
Kyle Schwarber won All-Star Game MVP because of a home run derby.
Well, that's different. That's an exhibition game. But the purity of baseball, Mike, come on. The purity of baseball went away long before you were born, Mike. Come on. When guys are doctoring baseballs, well, that's just game. I guarantee the answer will be, well, that's just gamesmanship. No. Bull pucky. The purity of baseball never existed.
Right.
It never existed. It was a myth. It was created by sports writers that waxed poetic as they wrote on their typewriters up there in row 1 of the press box.
Now,
Unbelievable.
from the Phillies standpoint,
Yes.
I need more on this. So last week we had a confident Eagles discussion,
Yes.
and we were homers, John.
Yes.
I see our YouTube chat buzzing this morning. Money Mar says the Phillies are 1 5 of 10 streak in August from missing the playoffs entirely. And then if you go through the YouTube chat, there's a lot of people that are almost on edge about the Phillies. I know why they would make you feel on edge. I am telling you right now, the Phillies will not miss the playoffs. And I still believe they win this division. Are we really still that on edge with this baseball team?
Some people are, and I believe some people can probably give you compelling arguments as to why they are.
All right, well, I want to hear those arguments as well. We have a lot of Philly stuff on the table. You can chime in at 610-632-0975. We do have Eagles talk to start the 7 o'clock hour because the new OC spoke on Saturday. You'll hear clips from Kevin Patullo. But before that, Bryce Harper, the hypocrite, question mark? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Bills take the series in New York. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies took 2 of 3 from the Yankees up in the Bronx over the weekend. They scored 24 total runs in the series, so a great offensive output by them, mainly in games 1 and 2. They were unable to complete the sweep as Zack Wheeler struggled a bit in yesterday's game, but still, back-to-back Series 1 for the Fightins. And with the trade deadline on Thursday, we'll keep you updated on what the Phils can do, and Dave Dombrowski as well, to improve the roster. They're heading to Chicago tonight to take on the White Sox for 3 games. Game 1 is at 7:40 p.m. Christopher Sanchez faces off against Davis Martin. Also, Phillies legend Dick Allen was enshrined in Cooperstown yesterday as the Baseball Hall of Fame welcomed their latest class. The Eagles continue training camp today. New offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo talks Saturday about his adjustment to the new role and how, well, it's not too different for him.
It's been fun. It's really not much different. It's probably there's a little more just talking to everybody, but overall it's about the same, but I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the energy's been great.
That's at least so far for training camp. We'll see what differences make when the play calling begins. But we'll hear from Nick Serriani coming up at 9:30 today as well. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'll just say it, the hypocrite. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. So over the weekend, there was a lot that went down with this Phillies team, which they did take 2 of 3 against the Yankees. I know you brought it up that you were there, Connor. How was the experience, first and foremost, before I bring up why Harper's a hypocrite?
Bro, it was amazing, honestly. It was great. There was a great turnout by Phillies fans, like there always are when they're close games.
The Eagles chants were they're through the TV.
Unbelievable how many Eagles chants there were. Ripped off a couple myself.
How did so many? How the Phillies did sort of take over?
Yeah, it was loud. Like I heard through the broadcast, like when Real Muto hit the home run, like it was a loud.
Walk into your trap, take over your trap, as a great Kirk Cousins once said.
Because what's weird is that the Phillies fans do not tend to take over Citi Field.
Right.
But to take over Yankee Stadium was just weird to me.
Maybe because there's more of a draw to Yankees, even though it's new Yankee Stadium. But maybe it's more of a draw to Yankee Stadium. I don't know.
That was weird.
But it was cool. Cool to see that many Phillies fans there. So on Saturday, when Brandon Marsh tried killing his teammate Edmundo Sosa, earlier in the game, Edmundo Sosa had a bit of an outburst where he got out, he struck out, and he slammed the helmet. And every reporter that covers the Phillies was like, wow, that's not something we see out of Edmundo Sosa. He's not normally a guy.
Rare.
Right, it's rare.
Yeah.
He's a guy that we don't really see that much emotion from. And after the game, Sosa spoke to the media because they wanted to see if he was A, alive, because Brandon Marsh tried taking him out, and then B, they talked about the game itself. And he said that after his outburst, Bryce Harper went up to him and first said, all right, take it easy. That's not you, right? As that's what a reporter said. Like, wow, that's rare to see Edmundo Sosa show that kind of emotion. And then according to Edmundo Sosa, Bryce said to him, we don't do that around here.
That's what he said. But remember though, they laid down the law last year after the Bohm thing. The veterans took a stance by keeping Bohm out of a playoff game, saying, enough of this crap. Enough acting like little children.
Yeah, but hasn't Harper himself shown that kind of emotion this year? I've seen his helmet hitting the ground pretty hard this year. I've seen him take the bat. Didn't he attack the bat rack earlier this year, Harper?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that before.
Like,
I remember that before. I do. I don't remember it this year. So if I spaced on that,
I'm just like, all right, the guy had an emotional moment, and it's not like it's every day like Bohm, right? Like
no,
Alec Bohm.
This is an out of left field
right,
moment.
It got to the point where they had to be like, all right, Alec, stop. We're gonna bench you in a playoff game, and it carried into this season a little bit clearly when he had that horrible start to the year where he wasn't in the right headspace,
and now he's got the mystery injury from spring break at the Jersey Shore.
When Sosa has an outburst, just let it go. Like I don't know why we have to do the whole we don't do that around here when you yourself has done it before. Bryce.
Well, the thought process there might be different teammate, different personality, knowing the guy for a couple years. Hey, I have not seen him do that. He's not a player that plays like that. Some guys, when they get angry, they get better. We've all played with people like that in different sports. Some people get pissed, and like basketball, they just take it to the rack 10 times, they get buckets. Like baseball, sometimes Bryce Harper, maybe when he's angry, a little bit more violent of a swing than he already has, he locks in more. But Edmundo Sosa is a guy that seems to be more of the joyful personality type. And maybe Bryce saw that and was just like, hey, like we can't have you doing that, which is hypocritical by nature, right? But sometimes you got to treat different teammates differently.
I just watched a video from a month ago when Bryce Harper waved off an umpire because of a bad call and then put his bat and threw his bat on the ground. Like that was from 1 month ago.
Well, at an umpire is different than at yourself. Clearly, the Phillies.
There's a difference. There is a difference with that.
Okay.
Like to me, there's a difference. You don't think there is, or do you? I do think there's a difference between being frustrated with an umpire and frustrated with a situation like that and pulling a temper tantrum because you sucked. There's a difference.
Oh, at least he's holding himself accountable.
Because he's doing hold yourself accountable by doing better.
Yeah,
that's a bunch of
didn't he hit a home
You're
run?
getting back to the Alec Bohm thing. It's getting back to the Alec Bohm behavior that the players players didn't like.
I just question that happened one time with Sosa.
I got it. No, I absolutely get you on that. I understand.
That's the one I just don't really get. Like, it's kind of hypocritical for Bryce, who I've seen be very emotional at times on the field. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. We're going to get into some Eagles talk, but you can continue to text in at 610-632-0975. Does this Phillies team feel real to you when you see that they are 60-45? Now, we live it very closely. Very closely. I don't think people
day to day, yes.
I don't think people pay attention to the Brewers, to the Cubs, to the Mets, and to the Dodgers the way that we pay attention to the Phillies. I said to you last week, despite the Brewers being red hot, that they're not a team that I go, all right, that's a team that I'm fearful of. They could get hot, clearly.
And you guys say that, and the Brewers have the best record against the playoff teams.
Yeah, they do.
Like you guys yeah, but they're not legit. And the Brewers are literally like 9-0 against the Phillies and the Dodgers. And the best team against the playoff teams. So we're already to the All-Star break. They're legit.
Yeah, they're playing very good
Brewers
baseball.
Are
I don't see them as World Series as their ceiling, whereas despite all the Phillies issues, their ceiling is still the World Series. And in 3 days, they could fix a lot of those issues before the ceiling collapses. All right, we'll continue that discussion. Also, if you want to chime in on the Savannah Bananas discussion that we just kind of came up naturally because I saw the tweet from Raider Frank hating on the Savannah Bananas. I've never seen them. So I can't tell you if I would have liked it or not. But if somebody likes it, I saw one of our YouTube commenters saying that it's not for him. I think it was Joseph. Yeah, Joseph Brennan.
But
not
that's
for him,
fine.
but his friends, his kids love it. His wife loves it.
And it's
so he goes.
It doesn't have to be for you. And I promise you, if you've ever gone to see the Harlem Globetrotters, you absolutely could go see the Savannah Bananas, and you'd have a great time. You would have a great time with them.
Absolutely. All right. Kevin Patullo spoke for the first time since the start of training camp. We heard him talk, obviously, during OTAs, but this was the first time since camp started. He spoke on Saturday.
And you know my ears were perked.
I'm sure they were, and I hope I grabbed the right clips that you would want to react to, Johnny. We'll start with this one because a lot of the questions that we have is, okay, can this guy call plays during a game? Jalen Hurts, the day before the Super Bowl parade, was asked about Kevin Patullo, and he basically said, his role is going to be a lot different. Yeah, he's been here.
It was like, ooh, well,
but
wait
his
a minute,
role will be a lot different.
That's a big difference.
Obviously, Jalen's tone has changed a little bit since probably working more with Kevin Patullo in this new role. Here is Patullo talking about the offensive coordinator title.
Yeah, it's not much different. It feels the same. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's much different at all. I mean, it's been fun. The meeting has been great. A lot of energy in the offensive meetings as a whole unit. Kind of gone to each position room a little bit and spent some time in there. The tight ends, I was in the other day going over some stuff with J. Mike and everybody, and it was good. It's been fun. It's really not much different. It's probably there's a little more just talking to everybody. But overall, it's about the same. But I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the energy's been great. On the field, the guys been tremendous. And in the classroom, everybody's been really, really good.
I imagine that it does feel the same, but it won't in 2 months.
Correct.
It won't.
When everything changes.
Yeah, like September 4th, less than 2 months. September 4th, it won't be the same.
The energy from Patullo, though.
Love it.
Yeah. I got to tell you.
He's eager.
Yeah. He's eager. I love people who sound grateful, who sound energized and grateful. He seems very grateful for the opportunity, and he should be. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
But he does. He seems very grateful. He seems very excited for the opportunity, which is awesome. Like that.
And he should sound that way on July. This would have been the 26th.
Yeah,
he should sound that way.
I'm excited for him though. I like that. I got to tell you, I've been very interested in what I've seen from Kevin Patullo so far, as far as hearing.
Right.
And honestly, in them running around in shorts and T-shirts,
and shells.
I'm not going to read anything into what I've seen or what I've heard.
Right. Yeah, but this is his bread and butter, right? He's been with the organization.
Correct.
He's run meetings and stuff like that.
They talk about him running them well.
Yeah, so if we were having any trouble at this point, major red flag. The fact that we're not, everything's cool.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know that we'd feel the same right now.
I don't know that we'd be hearing if they were having any trouble.
No, I don't think so. But
I mean, they're gonna keep.
Yeah, they're pretty good at keeping things in house.
Because if there's any trouble going on, it would be going on behind closed doors.
Right. Now, a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Patullo, I was trying to, because we had 50 days of therapy for John Kincade. One of the things that I tried maybe hitting hard for you was that Jalen Hurts is another year in this offense. Jalen Hurts is another year in the NFL. Jalen Hurts is Super Bowl MVP. Can he be a big part of what is being run during the game? Could he be a big part of calling the plays? How many times did we hear about the checks that Jalen Hurts made
that he did
at the line of scrimmage last year that led to touchdowns or led to big plays?
By the way, I'll just tell you a quick one from NFL Network the other day. The analysis they were doing, they were talking about it and saying that they were more effective in their check. I don't know how they check it, They were talking about Pro Football Focus and something else, some other service that they were more at their checks at the line of scrimmage. They were more efficient with it last year than they were the year before with Jason Kelsey. So just as far as identifying stuff,
Well, that's
impressive.
I also believe Jalen Hurts had all control last year.
He did, and that's impressive, though, that they were better than when Jason Kelsey was in control, because that was supposed to be one of his greatest strengths and everything like that. So that's great. There was no drop-off.
So
they're both great at it.
Here was Patullo on Saturday talking about how Jalen Hurts will be involved in the offense.
I think his comfort levels increased so much. Like I said, our quarterback meetings have been so good. The dialogue between him, myself, and Scott and everybody in there with all the quarterbacks, and the understanding of what we want to do and how to push it and change and maybe do some different things, to where as he gets more comfortable, his suggestions are obviously well taken too, to where I feel like as a team we can put things together and, give him a chance to do what he wants to do at times. But I think really it just comes down to just being able to adjust. I think he sees the game really well now, to where when he comes off the field, even in between series in practice, he's able to see it and say, like, hey, it was this, and this. And so it's really improved. It's good.
And that's awesome to hear. I mean, it's another year in the NFL, which helps, and playing as deep as they have been playing over the last 3 seasons, right? Two Super Bowl appearances. He's gotten a chance to see a little bit of everything throughout the league from the defensive side.
Okay, I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
I liked that whole sequence a lot, what I heard there. Because that sounded cooperative, that sounded communicative, like there's a lot of cooperation, and that Jalen is being given a lot of wide berth, and that he's listening, and they're cooperating, and they're working together, because I would imagine that changes Jalen's whole demeanor.
Yeah.
As far as what to expect, how does he enjoy things, how does he like things. That made me smile.
Right.
That made me smile a lot.
One more. Because
Okay.
I'm trying. It's still 50 days of therapy with John Kincade. Like, I'm still helping you out.
No. This is therapy, because that is helping me out.
Here was Patullo talking about how returning pretty much the entire offense is a blessing.
Yeah, I think it really helps, right? Because you're always building on what we've done from the past. And you can push the envelope as far as like, hey, let's try this off of that, because we've been doing this for a while. So it is fun to kind of do that kind of stuff and go through that and push the guys and stress them to see what we can get away with. And if it works now, hopefully it works later.
And that's the benefit of him being around all these years. Again, that does not mean he's going to be a good play caller. We won't find that out until the season starts. But through a couple days of training camp, seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah, shorts and T-shirts. But one thing I do like is I learn a hell of a lot more listening to Kevin Patullo speak than I did to Kellen Moore. And you know me, I was a Kellen Moore groupie.
Oh, yeah, man.
Kellen Moore had almost a restraining order placed on me.
You have his face tattooed on your back.
I'm very, very interested. No, I would never do that. That's stupid. Never do that.
All right, the offensive coordinator may be new, but will the offense remain the same? That was discussed a bit on Saturday as well. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. We want to hear from you, so text us at 6... MBD in our YouTube chat checks in. I don't understand why Harper seems obsessed with guys showing emotion. I never got that. If Alec Boehm is frustrated and wants to throw his helmet, who cares? And he does mention, I don't even like Boehm. It got over the top with Boehm. Like, it was the whole team.
The players had to, and NBD, the players literally get pissed off when during a game that they were up 11-0.
It was a blowout.
It was like
game,
a blowout
and he
win
was
in Kansas
He
City.
was the only player that
and he was
not
sitting there
playing well.
moping.
Yeah,
and he was moping in the dugout, and players had to come over and be like, "What's wrong, buddy? Why are you feeling bad? We're playing great." Like, you got to be a good teammate, and he wasn't being a good teammate. And then it continued. That's where the problem is. It's not just about the emotion. It's about control. When your emotions take over and they become selfish emotions, and you're not excited about the team goals, that's where it becomes a problem.
right. And so it got to a point where it was a distraction enough where they had to bench the guy in a playoff.
And Bryce maybe is a little wondering, like, how did he get injured? Like, how'd this injury happen? Like, maybe the spring break injury that happened. Like, maybe, what happened down there at the Jersey Shore? Like, why do we not have our third baseman? Be interested in knowing.
By the way, I just looked up that Royals game. They won 11.
What was it?
They won 11-2.
Okay, so it was. I remembered something like that.
They
It
had
was crazy.
18 hits, and Alec Boehm went 0 for 5 that game.
And he sat there moping in the dugout.
The very next game, they won 11-3, and Boehm went 2 for 4 with a home run. Like, that's what it's like. Yo, dude, like, all right, you're having a bad,
be happy
you're having a bad
for
game.
Be happy for your teammates.
But we're up 11-2. We just won a baseball
and
game.
nobody wants to see that.
Right.
Show that you're a teammate. Show that you're happy for your teammates.
All right, Phillies won't go off the table. We'll continue to talk about them throughout the course of the show. I know we got text messages coming in as well, but I want to play one more Patullo clip here for you.
Part of the therapy.
By
the way, you're helping me, and I really appreciate it.
I'm glad that I am.
I really appreciate it because I'll tell you, I'm skewing positive on this.
That's good. And I'm here to help you.
I like his messaging very, very much.
So the offense can't look exactly the same, nor should they expect it to be able to be as efficient as it was last year on the ground. I just don't believe it. I think more defenses will just try to load up the box and say, all right, Jalen, try to beat us, which we saw that Jalen Hurts can beat people. I just think he's going to have to throw the football more. Do I think it's going to be 40 pass attempts a game? No. Do I think it's going to be 18 pass attempts in wins? No. I'm sure he'll be in the mid to high 20s on a consistent weekly basis. Here was Kevin Patullo talking about how the offense will go through the ground game.
I think we're still the Eagles offense. I don't think that'll change. I think it starts with the run game up front, and then we just build from there. And then obviously we'd like to try new things here and there, and we'll see kind of how that goes throughout training camp and where it leads us to.
I'm fine with them still leading with the run. Like, I want them set up the
why would you
use the pass to set up the run. No, it should be the other way around because that's what usually works. And if that's what works for this Eagles team, then don't go away from your identity. I just think it's going to be not as drastic this year. That's all.
That's what I would suggest is that the passing game needs to be more dynamic this year. It needs to be there. And hearing A.J. Brown, too, talking about, I'm willing to do whatever's best for the team. It's clear A.J. wants to contribute more, and I think you should when you get the best receiver.
Right.
If he's not the best receiver in the game, he's one of the best.
And this goes back to the Panthers game where they barely beat the Carolina Panthers, and that's when the whole A.J. Brown passing offense
and they barely
fiasco started.
And they barely beat the Browns, and they barely beat the Jaguars. There was a problem, and they lost to the Falcons. They played a lot of crappy games at home last year, and they won a Super Bowl. It's what it's got to be in the memory banks for everybody this year that the year they won the Super Bowl, I'm going to argue with you, and it's something I have for later in the week.
Okay.
It may have been their worst year at home. I'm telling you.
It's actually kind of amazing.
It is amazing.
What do we got on the text line, Connor? You can text the show at 610-632-0975.
Yeah, we have people checking in on the Phillies and a couple of weird texts coming through. So first off, this from Steve on the trade deadline. He says, Dave Dombrowski has no clue the value of his prospects. He tried to trade Boehm last offseason, overvalued him. Get me a new GM. He has no clue to make a trade worth a damn that gets the Phillies over the hump.
I don't think he overvalued Boehm. I think there may have been a fatigue with Boehm, and they said, all right, let's try to find a solution to this. And maybe any deal that he wanted to make wasn't worth it. You weren't going to trade Boehm for a bag of donuts. Maybe Brennan Gunn would have, but like
Well, Brendan Gunn would have.
you would have traded. I think it was more so just say, all right, we're exhausted here, and oh, by the way, our third baseman doesn't hit for power. I don't think it was we overvalue the guy.
I think the problem is that they let it be known that they were done with him.
It was very public,
I think,
yeah.
but I think the problem was, honestly, his manager and his locker room screwed him too. By them being, let's bench him in the playoffs.
Right. That sends a signal to the rest
That hurt
of the
his
league.
value immediately, saying,
Right.
"Yeah, put him on the discount rack." At that point, he's at Big Lots.
I don't think Dave Dombrowski doesn't know the value of his product.
I think he does very well. I think he's been to the World Series multiple times.
I think he made a major mistake with how he handled the bullpen this past offseason.
Yes.
I think he made a major mistake with thinking Max Kepler from the left side was the right-handed pop that you needed. I think that was a mistake.
Yes.
But I think he could fix a lot of things in the next 3 days. And I think he knows the value of his prospects pretty well.
You think he's Ty Pennington? You think he's going to come in here and do it like extreme home makeover? Dude, this team has so many holes.
Yeah.
You think he's coming in at the trade deadline and we're fixing this and fixing that?
Exactly.
Chip and Joanna are not walking through that door.
I don't care about Chip and
Seriously.
Joanna.
They're not coming in and fixing this. This isn't HGTV. How many holes do they have to fill, and how are they doing it?
That's right.
Really not much.
3 holes.
3? I just told you that you got
legit bullpen arm, veteran bullpen arm, Suarez. Done.
Well, guess what?
And Crawford gets called up.
You still only have a 3-man rotation to take you through the last 2 months.
Okay. Giddy up. All right, coming up next, Patullo says the offense will still go through the ground game. Do the Eagles have the most unselfish quarterback in the league? What about the rest of the teams? Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A rough day for Wheels. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies took 2 of 3 from the Yankees up in the Bronx over the weekend, but it was a rough day for Zack Wheeler in the series finale yesterday. He did not look like his normal self and had some command issues, but the offense looked pretty darn good up there in New York. 24 total runs in the series, so it was good enough to knock off the Yankees, at least overall. And with the trade deadline on Thursday, we'll keep you updated on what the Phils and Dave Dombrowski will do to improve the roster. A lot of focus on potential moves this week as we keep an eye on that. The Phils head up to Chicago to take on the White Sox for 3 games starting tonight. Game 1 is at 7:40 p.m. this evening. Christopher Sanchez faces off against Davis Martin. Also yesterday, Cooperstown welcomed a couple new members to the Baseball Hall of Fame, including Phillies legend Dick Allen. About time he found his way in there. The Eagles continue training camp today, but the new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo talked Saturday, and he talked about his adjustment to his new role as OC.
It's been fun. It's really not much different. There's a little more just talking to everybody, but overall it's about the same, but I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the energy's been great.
We'll hear from head coach Nick Serriani coming up at 9:30. This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Their instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage for a limited time. Get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia Sports.
Touchdown!
Because the Eagles
Makes me smile.
Super Bowl champions. And hopefully the Phillies can continue championship Monday. Who knows? They just have to have a good deadline coming up in a few days. We'll get back to our Phillies text in a few minutes. But the unselfish Eagles, Johnny, is something that you have been keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I tell you, I look at the Eagles and I just say they are there is something to it. We've all talked about how the Eagles seem to have a very unselfish nature about them. And I heard over the weekend listening to Mike Gill and listening to a little of Brendan Gunn and stuff is like there's players are willing to subject their own personal stats for the good of the team. Mm-hmm. But I do wonder is how the Eagles been able to find so many of them.
It's amazing, isn't it?
How do they get so many of the guys? So I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and you can only give me one of them as the answer.
Okay.
Is it Howie and the scouts identify the perfect guys to draft or trade for? That's the most logical answer. Is it the Eagles' veteran locker room culture creates them and makes the players that way? Or is it just a credit to the players themselves as individuals for being great teammates? What do you think is most logical? And then I'm going to tell you what, from a conversation among friends, what they said.
All right, I'll give you an answer to your 3 questions.
Okay, well, which one of them you think's most likely?
The third one, that the players...
You just think that the guys themselves, it has nothing to do with the Eagles identifying great people?
And now I have a couple of reasons.
Okay.
Number 1, first and foremost, if the quarterback is unselfish, that should trickle down to everybody. And Jalen Hurts is probably the most unselfish player.
As far as star quarterbacks, absolutely.
Yeah, like,
he looks it.
Wait, you want me to only throw the ball 18 times against the Baltimore Ravens? All right, sure. If that's what's going to be the thing that's going to help us win the game, I will do that. We saw him do it. We saw him do it pretty much all last season.
Sure.
Now, I wanted them to do it, but you have to have the quarterback to buy in. Do you believe that some quarterbacks... I don't know, like Aaron Rodgers. Let's say prime Aaron Rodgers.
He would not have bought in.
Like, hey, Aaron, we want you to throw 20 times this game.
No, he would not have bought in.
And not 40. He would not have bought in. So I think if the quarterback is willing to do it, it will then trickle down to everybody else. And if everybody else is on that same page, which it seems like this team is, I think that's number 1. Number 2, I'll give you an answer that wasn't even in those questions.
What's that?
The history within the walls at NovaCare. Carson Wentz had a horrible look complaining that the team was winning without him. Horrible.
That is the truth.
And
it was documented by many veterans.
Documented by the veterans that were still there up until last year, year before that, or Lane Johnson, currently.
Okay.
Documented by those veterans that are still around, right?
Okay.
Jason Kelsey still around with the team. And Jalen Hurts is the guy that replaced Carson Wentz. I think there's also something to that where it's what you're coming out of, like Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman coming out of the Chip Kelly saga, and then Howie Roseman coming out of his own issues when he thought he was the smartest man in the world. If you can get better based off of previous mistakes, which maybe Hurts wasn't a mistake, but Carson Wentz clearly was, and his actions clearly were, how many times have you in life looked around and said, I don't want to be that guy?
Oh, no question.
I don't want to do what that guy's doing.
In this industry?
And so because I'm not trying to do what that guy's doing, I'm going to do the opposite. It may not benefit me, but I know deep down that what I'm going to do is the right thing.
Connor, which one do you fall on?
I think there's a guy not mentioned. So I lean more towards the culture, the second option there.
The Eagles' veteran locker room culture.
Yeah, because I do not believe that every single player on last year's Eagles team, this year's Eagles team, any Eagles team, is as unselfish as the entire team is portrayed. Like, I just don't believe that. You say it all the time, Johnny, getting that many people in a room and all agreeing on one topic just doesn't happen. But when the leadership keeps people in line and sets the standard, they've been really good at getting people to follow along. And we haven't mentioned maybe the number one guy's thing in this. Nick Sirianni is a big, big part of this, I think. Because Nick Sirianni's a guy that here has not really been... See, he has his antics, right? But I don't look at the antics as like, look at how great of a coach I am. I look at that as more, he's kind of like a goofy dude who goes too far sometimes. But he's a guy who's given stuff up as a head coach, who's put others ahead of him, who's not afraid to give credit to other people, and doesn't seem to really draw it to himself as much. I think it starts with a head coach, too, who's a big part of culture setting, and that's one of his main things he does.
That's what's really funny is you went one way, Andrew went another way, and the guys I was talking with the other day about this said they were giving credit to Howie.
And I would
They
give
think
Howie
that
credit
Howie
before
and his
Nick.
scouts, they think that Howie and his scouts identify team captains in college,
Well, that's kind of why I used the Wentz example.
leadership guys,
Yeah.
that they pick guys that are born leaders, guys that have been, that they know are going to all sing from the same hymnal.
Right, in some ways, but then you've got a guy like Zach Bond, who is kind of a nobody in New Orleans, that comes here and becomes a leader. You have a guy like Jalen Carter, and we know, right or wrong, how teams look at him coming out of Georgia. You've got a guy like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's been on this team twice, who's not exactly the prime locker room guy, and it works. So I don't look at it as how he just only looks at these guys. He has certain principles, but there has to be that leadership
Look,
structure.
here's the real answer. It's a cop-out. It's all of it. Right?
Well,
It's,
yeah.
it's all three, it's all three questions.
That is
right.
I just answered. There's usually a going back to psychology. You know, the psychology class that I was forced to take
Yep.
at Temple University.
Same.
You know, forced to. Well, I think I had a choice. I took one psychology, one sociology.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Clark White, one of my favorite professors of all time. I wish I knew where
I
he
don't
was.
remember any of my
He was awesome.
professors, dude.
But one of the is the idea is there's always one dominant thing, and the others are more of the fan that fans off.
Right, right.
But whatever it is, the Eagles have a secret sauce.
Now, where did you fall on it?
Where do you think I fell?
Howie.
See, I went to I think it's the individuals.
Okay. So you're with me more.
I went with you more.
Yeah.
And
And it starts with Hurts.
I think it's the individuals, and I do believe that if somebody sees, how about this? If one of the guys back here who's a producer or someone who's an intern here sees us do certain things as hosts, sees us willing to pitch in, willing to do things and willing to cooperate or willing to help people out or willing
Digital
to
content, baby.
whatever it is, I think they then see, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm if they do that, then I'm supposed to do that.
Right.
So I think that people set the tone and then everybody else does it.
Yeah, and when A.J. Brown complained after the Panthers game, the passing offense, it wasn't because of his numbers. It was, we all saw it. The passing offense was not good last year.
No, and he was absolutely right. And people did make it into, he was low level, subtly saying, this has got to be better.
Oh, yeah.
He was challenging the team to be better.
I still remember that Monday morning. We didn't disagree with what he said.
No, it was totally.
It was when Brandon Graham opened his mouth Monday night when all of a sudden that conversation turned a lot differently. But
And I'm still going
Monday
to tell
morning, we reacted to it like, yeah, it does need to get better.
And I still believe that's why Brandon Graham's not playing this year. I still believe that.
But he'll be around.
He'll be around.
He'll be around.
But I still believe that's why they're like, yeah, let's just time to move on.
All right, what do we got in the text line, Connor? I know a lot of people still chiming in on the Phillies discussion. That's not going away. We still have a lot of Philly stuff to get to throughout the course of the show.
We also have people who checked right in on this discussion about the Eagles' culture. So this texter says the answer is culture overall. Both Howie and Coach Serriani learn from failing. Coach is a tone setter with consistent messaging, and they do draft guys who love the game and are coachable. All of it works together.
Yeah, rock,
I like
paper,
that
scissors.
answer.
Rock, paper,
Yeah.
scissors,
Wow.
remember?
That's the number one way to evaluate now.
Well, whether or not you're competitive or not.
Everything. Screw 40 time.
Well, if
girls.
that was the case, Connor would be on the would be a gunner on the
That's
special
true.
team.
No,
That's true.
coin flips. Rock, paper, scissors.
seriously.
Too many options.
No,
Once
but
you get to three.
But it's whether or not you're competitive.
Well, you're
Oh.
like
It's
Connor
not
is
whether or not you're good at it.
like
It's whether or not you're competitive.
Like Connor's super competitive, but Connor is also a great teammate. Like Connor would
Allegedly.
be Connor's a great teammate.
Part of a
Connor-
championship
Are you
team.
going to be at the
More
playoff
on that
game? Are you going to be at the playoff game this weekend?
No, he's at he has a vacation.
yeah, but if he was a great teammate,
no.
he'd be at the playoff
No,
game.
because he's a loyal friend.
I got to be in Ibiza.
Correct. He's in Ibiza, which, by the way,
Sorry.
I
Loyal
couldn't.
friend, but not a loyal teammate.
By
I
the way,
understand.
I couldn't tell you where Ibiza is or find it on a map.
It's out there
It's
somewhere.
an island off the coast of Spain in the Mediterranean.
I thought it was a furniture store.
That is IKEA.
Okay, I thought so.
Pisa might be a furniture store somewhere.
By the way, the one of our listeners sent me a thing about. Did you ever watch the soap opera that was shot in the IKEA? And I went, no, on YouTube. And he sent me an episode. These amateur actors who wanted to get noticed
Okay.
shot a soap opera that they did in the Burbank IKEA. And they literally were doing it. And they shot an episode every week where they literally just brought the cameras and they didn't know it was being shot there, the store. And it's hilarious.
And one became Matthew McConaughey?
No, but one of them is a star now. I don't know the guy.
Okay.
But
So
he's
it
a star
actually
now.
has worked out.
But it actually worked out.
For them.
It's funny stuff.
All right, coming up next, more of your text messages. Also, can you win a season award being unselfish, as unselfish as the Eagles are?
Or unfiltered.
Or unfiltered. We look at some futures bets for the Eagles next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hi, my name is Phil E., and for most of my sports fan life, I've been suffering from
Already, Johnny. My God, this Monday morning already flying by.
And the heat wave is heading in.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's so funny, man. I was just about to bring up the weather. You're insane.
I am insane. That
Why are
makes
we on
you
the
insane.
same page?
It is going to be nasty.
Yes, for the next couple days, then it's going to rain, and then it's going to be freaking beautiful.
We're heading into like a pattern where it's going to be awesome.
It's going to feel like football. It's going to
How
feel
about
like the
this?
beginning of football season.
I saw today there is a chance my Chester County weather buddy has on his site this morning there is a chance that Chester County will not see a 90-degree day by the weather patterns in August.
Oh, wow. That'd be huge, man.
That's a shame. I need
Connor,
100 again.
Connor,
No, 80s are
Connor,
great,
stay in
dude.
Ibiza or is it Ibiza?
Ibiza.
IKEA?
Actually, it's Ibiza.
Ibiza.
Ibiza?
Yes.
I didn't know
Like
that.
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Like Barcelona?
Yes.
What is that? Castilian? That's that's the Castilian. You have to have my sister-in-law speaks with that.
Okay.
She speaks her Spanish that way. 'Cause
Yeah,
they're all
sure.
because she had to go to because in 16 in Jamaica, you're done high school. So my wife's siblings, they all had to go to. They all went foreign then to school elsewhere. So she went to Spain, and she learned Castilian,
That's what you pay. Yeah.
and they all speak with the lisp because the king had a lisp.
Yeah. How about that?
So they taught them. So they taught them to speak with a lisp.
I did
Well,
not
a history
know that.
lesson there for you.
There it is.
I
The
did not-
Castilian.
I
The
did not know
Castilian.
that at all.
They speak with a lisp to make the king not feel embarrassed that he had a lisp.
How about that?
How about that one for you?
That's good work.
See, and I don't speak Spanish.
All right, so let's look at some of these players on the Philadelphia Eagles. Last year, we saw Saquon Barkley. Was he runner-up? No, he was offensive player of the. No, he wasn't even offensive player of the year because it was Lamar and Josh Allen. That was
No,
the
he
weird.
was offensive player. of
He
the
was
year.
offensive player of the year.
You good?
He was good.
He was good. He was pretty good. Oh, I was thinking about the Dan Orlovsky vote. That he voted one guy to win MVP, one guy to win Offensive Player of the Year. It was the Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson thing. So Saquon won Offensive Player of the Year. Obviously didn't win MVP. On defense, we saw a runner-up for Defensive Rookie of the Year in Quinyon Mitchell behind Jared Verse of the Rams. Cooper DeJean was a top 5 finalist as well. And so that makes John wonder if there are other players on this team that could win awards as rookies, which I doubt. Or could there be somebody that wins some of the other big hardware?
Like the MVP. I love my free bets on the Bet Parks app. When I get free bets on the Bet Parks app, I now throw them always at futures.
Okay.
So now the football season's coming. It's like time to load up.
Yeah, and you have something to pay attention to all year
Right, and then
long.
you just throw it at it. So if you got one MVP futures bet for the Eagles, it seems too easy to just say Jalen Hurts. And by the way, I've already thrown 2 at Jalen Hurts. Because on December 1st of 2022 and December 1st of 2023, Jalen Hurts was leading the MVP odds. So I've seen Jalen Hurts do that twice in the last 4 years. So I'm going to take a flyer at that.
By the way, I see him on FanDuel at plus 2,000, tied for 6th with Justin Herbert.
So to me, I think that's a fine wager. But if it wasn't Jalen Hurts, I think it's obvious who the number 2 to put your money on is. Do you think it's obvious, Connor or Andrew? Who would you put your money on?
The obvious is Saquon, but sometimes I don't bet the obvious.
I don't think it
And I think A.J. Brown could be the guy that Jalen Hurts is making those passes to.
Yeah, I don't think there is an obvious one because AJ's got as good an argument as Saquon. Because of the assumed step back from Saquon. It may not be monstrous, but you're probably looking at a lower production year. And
by design.
And for winning MVP, like that can be fine for the Eagles for winning football games. If a running back's to win MVP, you're going to have to rush for over 2,000.
Yeah.
You're going to have
It's
to
a
lead the
quarterback
league.
award,
Like
yeah.
you're going to have to be a monster.
Now, by the way, speaking of by design, maybe limiting Saquon's touches, I had an ESPN shift on Saturday, and I had Tim McManus on, which is funny how that just worked out. That Timmy, who I've been talking to for 11 years here, I was able to speak to on Saturday on ESPN. And I straight up asked him, like, hey, are they going to do a little bit less with Saquon this year? And he believes that they will. And he said that Saquon Barkley was with Jeff Stoutland the other day, because Jeff Stoutland's, even though he's the offensive line coach, we know how much of an impact Jeff Stoutland makes with this team. It almost seems like they're already sort of preparing, hey, there's going to be some games where we're taking the foot off the gas pedal a little bit more with Saquon. And he knows his body more than anybody. But remember, he's also not trained as hard this offseason. I wonder if they ease Barkley into the season a little bit this year.
How'd Timmy feel about that? Like that's a good strategy? Or
I think the same way everybody else feels. Okay, so they don't run as well or run as much. They still have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert to work with. And, oh, by the way, you now have A.J. Dillon, you're not asking him to carry the ball 20 times. You might be asking him to carry the ball 5-6 times, and Will Shipley gets 6, 7, 8 touches between running the football, also catching stuff out of the backfield.
I'd be a little shocked if they did that much with Will Shipley, but that's interesting.
I think snap count's going to be a little bit lower this year.
And I'd
for
be
Barr.
fine with that.
Yeah, I'd be totally fine with it. Defensively, is there anybody?
Yeah, that's mine. I think Jalen Carter's the one I'm going to put my next one on.
I would not waste your money.
Why?
Because they're not going to put a guy who just eats up offensive linemen as an MVP or Defensive Player of the Year. Unless he finishes with 15 to 20 sacks.
So you don't think that it could be?
No, I don't think that he could win it.
What about Defensive Player of the Year?
I don't think, no, because it's statistic based. Like Quinyon Mitchell, honestly, probably should have won Defensive Rookie of the Year, but he had 0 interceptions.
Okay.
But people that are doing the voting go, oh, man, I didn't watch Quinyon Mitchell all season. 0 picks. How could he be the winner? I'll go with Jared Verse, who was deserving.
By the way, Jared Verse was deserving.
Yeah, he was deserving. But I think a lot of it is statistic-based. Jalen Carter only had 4.5 sacks last year.
I got you, but
we
I don't
know how dominant he is, but he only had 4.5 sacks.
I don't. I think he was the people who watch the game, like in NFL circles, considered him to be one of the best, if not the best player, one of the best defensive players in the game. So to me, I'd be feeling pretty. I'd be feeling pretty good about him being a guy that could be defensive player of the year.
So to your point, you just said that people valued him as one of the best defensive players of the year. He did finish in the voting.
4th, 5th?
Keep going.
Really? Was that bad?
Yeah.
How far down was 12th?
12th.
Wow.
He finished, again, 4.5 sacks. Patrick Surtain was number 1. Trey Hendrickson was 2. Myles Garrett was 3. That's 17.5 sacks, 14.5 sacks.
So they went with sacks.
TJ Watt was 4th. Zach Bond finished ahead of Jalen Carter. He finished 5th.
Which, by the way, with all due respect to Zach Bond, that's ridiculous. There isn't a general manager in football that isn't taking Jalen Carter ahead of Zach Bond. That is ridiculous.
But that's not what the award is.
Okay. Well,
the
what
award
is
production over the course of the season.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
Zach Bond,
no.
93
Why is
tackles.
Why is that the award?
It's Defensive Player of the Year.
I think production over the course of the year. Give me Jalen Carter's production. Give me Jalen Carter's production.
But it's Jalen Carter's impact because, again,
and his impact. Yes. Give me Jalen Carter over Zach Bond every day of the week, and I love them both. You're asking me to choose between two children I love, but Jalen Carter's impact on a game is higher than Zach Bond's.
I got you. I just don't think Jalen Carter would ever win unless he becomes Aaron Donald, where it's the sacks come with it.
Well, that tells me where the voting's stupid then. If Zach Bond was that far ahead of Jalen Carter, wow, like that's eye-opening.
Yeah,
that is
seven spots higher. All right, coming up next, we'll get back to some of our Phillies discussion as the trade deadline is just 3 days away. Also, could we be nearing the end? Big report over the weekend. Or speculation. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Trade deadline week begins. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies, well, they're heading into the week of the Major League Baseball trade deadline. It is on Thursday, and there have been rumors for what feels like months now about who the Phillies could be looking at to trade for. We will keep you updated on that as the week progresses. They had a solid weekend up in New York, the Phils did. They took 2 or 3 from the Yankees. Yesterday, Zack Wheeler did not have his best stuff, but the offense, 24 total runs in that series in the Bronx. So we'll see if they can carry that along with them to Chicago. They'll take on the White Sox for 3 games starting tonight. Game 1 is at 7:40 p.m. Christopher Sanchez faces Davis Martin in the pitching matchup. Also, Phillies legend Dick Allen was enshrined in Cooperstown yesterday as the Baseball Hall of Fame welcomed their newest class. The Eagles continue training camp today, and new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo talked over the weekend about his adjustment to the new role.
It's been fun. It's really not much different. There's a little more just talking to everybody, but overall it's about the same, but I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the energy's been great.
Nick Serriani will meet with the media coming up today at 9:30 as training camp continues. This update's brought to you by Moyer & Sons. Summer's heating up. Call Moyer Indoor Outdoor for expert pest control and lawn care. Moyer, trusted service, year-round solutions. Visit eMoyer.com today. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Texting, the easiest We have today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming up around 8:15. More MLB trade deadline talk at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour because Eugenio Suarez, or Gino Suarez, as Johnny says, just make it easier, is not the only player that's been linked to the Phillies, especially over this weekend. It was a very busy weekend of buzz and speculation and trade rumors as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. This weekend, just to go back to something that Dave Dombrowski said a few weeks ago. Remember, Dombrowski said when he was asked about the trade deadline that 10 days could change everything. The Rays have had a horrible 10-day stretch.
Yeah, but they're still a playoff team.
No, but the reports have also now the Rays are looking to potentially sell.
What?
Yeah, I saw, I think it was Buster Olney that put that out there, and it made me right away think about what Dave Dombrowski had to say.
They're potentially they're
500. They're 53 and 53. They're 3 and 7 in the last 10 games.
I guess you got to move on at that point. You got to
because you have to decide, are we buyers or sellers?
You got to move on.
There's not many non-movers.
And it's
either you buy or you sell.
And it's also a year where you don't have your stadium.
Right. It's weird, very weird.
And you do that, so you've been dealt a bad hand.
Yeah. So
and
the 10 days has been a lot for Tampa.
And Scotto, by the way, Scotto, it is his last name.
What's up, Scotto?
But he goes by Scotto. It's his last name. Scotto says, "Glad to see you guys are paying Connor so much money because I've been to Ibiza. Do you know, John, it is considered the most expensive place in Spain."
Oh, I mean, Connor's sitting front row at the Bronx. He's going
considered,
to Ibiza.
It is one of the most expensive places to visit in Spain.
Yeah, it's not going to be a cheap trip.
Oh, my gosh.
But it's going to be a fun trip.
It's going to be worth it.
It'll be worth it.
Who do you hang out with? The Kardashians?
Dumb people with too much money.
Oh, my gosh. You're not kidding you. Like, my God. Our bachelor parties were going to a bar and then
not going.
Yeah.
I will just say I would much prefer just going to a bar.
Yeah,
but sometimes you got to show up for the boys.
When did guys become ladies? Just
I would say this.
Trips.
I don't think some ladies would want to spend all that much money.
Oh my gosh!
These bachelorette parties, you have to take out a loan for these days, and then that's why they start asking for Venmo as they make the drive out there, which I think is a major violation.
It's incredible.
Just leave it at that. And some of my wife's own friends have done it.
Well, I think
it's a horrible violation.
Should I put out the Venmo for a visa?
Well, no, but it wouldn't be for you. It would be for your boy.
Venmo for bar tabs and stuff like that.
I think that's so messed up.
Tacky.
Old man yelling at clouds here. I think it's so messed up.
Tacky as hell.
All right, give us a couple text messages, and then at 8 o'clock, so in a couple minutes, there was a clip from a Sixers reporter on a national show that made us go, huh, wow, okay. What do we got, Connor?
So we have a check-in on that Bryce Harper, Edmundo Sosa conversation from earlier. And I think this is a wild text, but you guys tell me.
Okay.
They say, it's amazing and annoying that the biggest crybaby on the team can get on others when they're acting just like he does, but Harper didn't do it to Bohm.
So first and foremost, before we continue, in case anyone's just tuning in and you missed it on Saturday, Edmundo Sosa slammed his helmet after striking out. He was not happy with himself. This was before Brandon Marsh tried killing him in the outfield. Edmundo Sosa then spoke after the game and said that Bryce Harper went up to him and said, "Come on, man, that's not you," which I'm fine with. Like that line, the "that's not you" line. It's then when he continued and said, "We don't do that around here."
Which is just...
Because it's done around here. I've seen it done around the Phillies to the point where you had to bench one of your players. And, oh, by the way, yo, Bryce, I love you, but look yourself in the mirror. I've seen him do it this year. This season, I've seen him do it. So I wouldn't say the biggest crybaby on the team.
Okay, who is?
Probably Bohm.
Yeah.
Imagine Alec Bohm is the biggest crybaby.
Bohm's been under control this year for the most part.
I don't think anything about...
Earlier in the year was pretty rough still for Bohm.
Yeah, but I don't think anything about Harper says crybaby.
No.
At any point for anything.
I just found that interesting that Bryce Harper felt comfortable saying we don't do that around here when you yourself have done it around
you do.
here.
Yeah.
Numerous
Yeah,
times.
you guys do.
I get you.
All right,
You
what else
do
we
all the
got?
time.
All right, we also have a check-in here, a trade scenario for Gino, Eugenio Suarez. This texter says, Suarez for Alec Bohm and Mick Abel. Get the deal done.
Sure.
They're not doing that.
I would do it, but sure.
They don't want Alec Bohm.
Why wouldn't they?
Because they don't.
He's young.
Yeah, taking on. He's not young. He's 30.
That's also too much.
They're not taking on Alec Boehm. The whole league had a chance to get Alec Boehm last offseason for a bag of balls.
I'd be totally, dude. Honestly, I'd be totally fine with it. Like I'd like Alec Boehm.
I would be fine with that deal.
It's never getting better. You know what I mean?
It's not too much, Connor. But no, he's very good at the plate this year again. I mean, he's
right.
I
What I'm
think
saying
that is too
when I
much.
say better, I mean like the power's never coming. Right? Like
No,
the
it's
280 is great, and driving in runs when guys are on base is great. I need a more prolific bat. And to your point, they tried trading him, and he's he's got
Nobody wanted
one year left. Alec Boehm?
What? Because he's going to be 31 next year.
No,
Right?
he's 28.
28?
28. Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to be 30 next year. In the next
During
year
the
to come.
season. Yeah.
Okay. No. Look, if anybody would take him, I'd move on at the end of the year.
I
But
would
I'm not
move on
looking
just to
him
move
now.
on,
No,
but-
I'm not looking at. No, I'm not. I don't want to move into next year with him. I want to move on. But this year, I want him here. I want him at first base.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there are 2, maybe 3 players at the major league level right now that could get moved for the Phillies. In some sense, trade, DFA, whatever. Kepler, Marsh, maybe Rojas. But nobody else on the major league team is moving. You're just creating more problems for yourself. You're trading prospects. You are buying team in a World Series contention window. So trading Boehm does not help you.
By the way, too, when you're hearing Buster or you're hearing Tim Kirchin or any of them talk about the fact that the idea that the Phillies have considered Boehm to first, Harper to the outfield, everything like that. I know that I've heard Mike talk about it with Ray going, nah, you're switching too many positions. The Phillies are considered. That's not odd, and they'd be willing to do it.
I
They're
think the Phillies need to do it.
And they're willing to do it. And by the way, what they're doing is not working.
Right,
It doesn't
exactly.
work.
That's the point. Like,
so
what
they need to do it.
It's worked enough to be a 60-win
Right,
team at this point of the
exactly.
season, 60-45.
They're not pleased.
But they're not a World Series contender with this lineup, with this way that it is constructed. You can make a couple of moves and get creative where now all of a sudden we're whistling a different tune. All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Music Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering
And
possibilities.
what tune are we whistling?
Probably Price is Right, because that's been stuck in my head because of you for the last, freaking 2 months. Keith Pompey, our man from the Inquirer, who we have often on this show, and you hear him all over the Fanatic all the time. He was on, I don't know what it was, NBA radio, I think I saw the
Sirius
graphic
XM.
said. All right.
I think Sirius XM.
He was being interviewed about the Sixers this offseason. And he said something that caught our attention. And here is Keith Pompey talking about JoJo.
I think Joel may know that the end is near, and this is just me saying, and it's kind of like explaining to people what he's been going through. Because rarely do you have a guy tell you how much pain and how much they're going through. The thing I took from it was no matter who is there, the culture is the same, and I feel like Joel Embiid knows that it may not be this season, but the end is near. And he feels as though he can't play to the level he used to. I could be wrong. He could come out and have another MVP season. But that was my takeaways and questioning why did you come out with this article at this particular time, when in the past you always said I'm good.
And that was the article on ESPN.com that we talked about 2 weeks ago.
I don't remember that article. Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, my gosh. You're heartless. You're absolutely heartless. Oh, my gosh. Joel bared his soul. You heartless bastard, you. Yeah, it was a piece. It was,
Yeah.
and it's seriously tell you, it's written with agenda. Whether
Sure.
it's goodbye or whatever.
Well, and that's what we were trying to
Very dramatic.
That's what we were trying to figure out. What was the point of this article? And why now? Not what was the point. We know what the point was, but why now? Why at this time? And that was Keith Pompey
If Keith Pompey sat down to write that piece with Joel Embiid, if he had been chosen, handpicked to do it, it would have been a completely different piece.
Could have been.
Because Keith would have written the piece as a journalist.
So I don't know when he says this is the end. Is he talking this is the end Sixers or this is the end career?
I think career.
Embiid in the article was asked, like, when you're done, what's next for Joel Embiid? And he said, you guys might never hear from me again, right? Like almost like an Andrew Toney situation.
You believe
where
that?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah.
I completely do not. Completely do not.
I don't think he's the same look at me, Joel, like he used to be. I really don't. I think he loves being
So you think he
dad
goes,
and
you think he just disappears? We
Yeah.
will not. We will see him if he shows up for like a special night.
Yeah.
We will never hear from Joel Embiid.
I don't think he's going to be like a TikTok star, or I think he's going to have his money and raise his kid and follow his
We're going to
wife's
see this
career.
in the future. I do not.
Yeah, all right, and we'll see. But it would end up being, and I said this to you guys when we talked. You guys know how I feel about Joel Embiid. I love the guy. It would be best for the Sixers because then there's the retirement clause in the contract.
Yes.
And that would be the best thing for the Sixers. Well, first and foremost, best thing is he's healthy for once and they play. That's just not necessarily something we really believe will happen.
Correct.
The best thing for the Sixers would be, hey, give it another year, see what happens. And if it doesn't work and he decides to retire, you get out of the contract a lot earlier.
Well, before the big kick in.
Yeah, the kick in, right.
Which I still don't understand. They'll study it in sports business classes forever.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
say, what the hell were you thinking? What were you ever thinking?
Yeah.
Did you not look at medicals? Did you not look at his career? What were you ever thinking?
Well, when he stays healthy next season and the Sixers win the championship, he can go off into the sunset, Johnny. All right. We have today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming up next. We'll sneak in some text messages as well, as there's been a lot of great Phillies and Eagles discussion throughout the course of the show. You can chime in at 610-632-0975.
The light switch is over there. Just turn it off when you're done.
Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, everybody, it's Bill Colarulo, and coming up at 2 o'clock on
Have today's headlines with the voice of reason, according to the promo, Connor Thomas.
I didn't write it.
Brings us headlines coming up in a few minutes. But I do want to check the text line before it. Phillies, Eagles, whatever you got, Connor. We've been talking about the Phillies and the upcoming trade deadline 3 days away, and the Eagles discussion about the unselfishness of this football team. It's been a lot of fun so far this morning. What do we got?
So Joe the Cynic checks in, and he's also concerned about Zack Wheeler's recent starts. He says pretty concerning that Wheeler's last 2 starts both showed the same thing, with finishing hard to his left side while pulling the pitch across his body. That's something that should be fixed within the 3rd time it happens in a game, so he doesn't hit 3 batters.
Sure. And if there's anybody that I believe that can fix it, it's Zack Wheeler, and that's why I'm not concerned. Doesn't mean he's been pitching great the last 2 outings, but that doesn't mean I'm going to
it's something you've never seen. And as Ricky says, something he has never seen out of Zack Wheeler. And then he's seen it now 2 starts in a row. You've never seen Zack Wheeler do this.
Do what?
He's coming across his body like that, and then he's hitting guys, and he's also taking in like he's never done this. And as Ricky, they were even showing video of it, is like that's not what he does. That's a really odd, it's an odd struggle for him, something that he's not done. Now, it could be something that just got in his head. Maybe he's just out of rhythm, whatever it is. But it's 2 starts in a row where he's had the same thing happening. Could be compensating for, could he be compensating for something? Could there be something, could there be a tweak? Could there be something that's bothering him? We don't know. We're going to find out, but we don't know. You're just hoping that everything's okay with him.
Yeah. Here's to hoping.
That's what we're hoping.
Yeah, I mean, one of these 2 starts was a 10 strikeout game in which the Phillies won.
And he
Correct.
And I remember even saying it. He didn't even look all like that. That's how good he is. That he didn't look great in a 10 strikeout start. Like that's how good he is.
Yeah, and even yesterday, the Phillies, either other offensive performance in that series, they win that game. I know you can't just do that, but I'm just saying, he hasn't been bad.
I think the Yankees bailed him out a lot yesterday because they may have the worst plate discipline in Major League Baseball. They chase crap. Boy, that team, that's a bad baseball team.
Well, especially when Judge is out of the lineup.
You should have swept that team. That's a bad baseball team. I can't believe they're as good as they are. That's surprising as all get out.
I'm happy with the series win.
I'm glad they did too. Man. No, I'm glad they did too. But wow, I mean that team chases. They talk about boat paddles. They're up there, and somehow Aaron Boone's getting the blame for it. I have no idea why.
That's just because he's been there forever.
That's part of it, maybe.
They're just tired of him.
Tired of it.
Phil's begin a series, by the way. Speaking of a team they should sweep, maybe not so much the Yankees, but the Chicago White Sox. They begin that series tonight.
And the Mets sweep the Giants in San Francisco while the Phillies were playing in New York. And just a place the Phillies just can't play in San Francisco, and the Mets go in there and just
there's something with it, and
wipe out the Giants.
And that's not just this regime. It's the weirdest thing. It's been like the last 20 years. They just don't play well in San Francisco.
That Mets group walks in there and it's like, yeah, well, we can play here. Yeah, we're not intimidated. Yeah, we're fine.
I don't think it's intimidation. I don't know what it is, John. It's just, sports are weird. I don't think the Phillies went into into Oracle Park and peed themselves.
I sort of think they did. They sort of did. They won the last game in laugher fashion, which was nice, but I sort of think they did. Their performance, that's sort of how I would describe it.
They were intimidated?
No, they sort of peed themselves.
They played terribly in 2 games.
Yeah, but
they played terribly.
I don't think they were scared.
I don't think
I don't know about being scared. They just played terribly.
The Mets walked in there. They weren't intimidated.
Mets just walked in there. It's not a house of horrors for them. Phillies haven't won a series there in 13 years.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
It's weird. Sports are weird. It's time now for another weird person. Connor Thomas, today's headlines.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
That felt unnecessary, but what is necessary is telling you about our sponsor for headlines. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Now, Andy, we're going to get to your boy here in a second because Ichiro had some things to say over the weekend, but real quick, championship softball winner right here as part of the PSD team. Shout out the boys this weekend. We took home the trophy there. Hopefully we'll do it again soon in a baseball league there, Andrew.
I'm sure all of our listeners are happy for you.
Yeah,
They're happy.
They're excited. I promised the boys I'd give them some love if we won. Now, Ichiro made it into the Hall of Fame, so he had himself a pretty good weekend too. But it was not a unanimous selection, which a lot of people were upset about at the time. And clearly, it bothered Ichiro as well. Here's a snippet of his speech.
3,000 hits or 262 hits in one season are achievements recognized by the writers. Well, all but one of you.
It's a great line. And then he said that the offer to come over to have dinner is officially canceled because the guy never got back because the guy was a coward and we still don't know who it was. And I think baseball votes should be public. I appreciate all the voters who do make their votes public, even though sometimes we may not agree with their vote and then they catch heat for it on social media. But you know what? At least they put it out there. Whoever did not vote for Ichiro felt the need to be like, I'm going to be the guy that's smarter than everyone else that's going to say he is not unanimous.
Okay, I'm hearing this. Now, you're an Ichiro guy.
Yes.
So I'm going to excuse you for this. So what about the guy who didn't vote for Derek Jeter?
Yeah, that guy also.
How about the multiple
They're
people?
all cowards.
How about the multiple people who didn't vote for Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, it's dumb.
How about the multiple people who didn't vote for Nolan Ryan? Cal Ripken Jr. got 98% of the vote.
They all feel the need to try to be smarter than everybody else.
George Brett got 98%. Hank Aaron got 97%.
And the people that weren't the 3%, 2%, one voter, they're all dumb.
But for Ichiro to be pissed off about not being unanimous when guys got 1%, 2%, 3% less than him that had bigger impacts on the game than Ichiro had, I'd say just be classy and be thrilled that you're in the Hall of Fame.
First off, John.
No, seriously.
He was joking around, number one. Number two, he made a major impact for the game, not just because of his play, but because of what he did as the first
He did. And there are many
Japanese-born position player.
And there are a ton of players down the list who didn't get unanimous, who got 96, 97% of the vote, 95% of the vote, who were huge imprints on the game, much bigger than Ichiro.
Right, and so all those guys were also dumb in those voting
and they didn't call out voters on the platform.
So some people get screwed over, so you shouldn't be mad that you get screwed over?
And nobody got screwed over. He's in the Hall of Fame. Nobody got screwed over.
And he made a joke, John.
Nobody got screwed over by it. No, it's not a joke when you're calling. Well, except for one writer.
Yeah. It was a joke, and everybody laughed at it except for one person. It was the guy that didn't vote for him because that one guy was a moron.
Strongly agree.
Thank you, Connor.
Yeah, no problem.
It's unbelievable.
We're also
Get out the small violin.
Nobody's got a violin out, John.
Yes, you do.
All right, we're gonna move on.
Nobody has a violin.
So
Yes.
we're
Not
gonna
unanimous.
we're gonna move on.
We are?
Alex Jackson. I don't know if you guys saw what he did over the weekend. I don't know if most people even knew who Alex Jackson was, at least here. But he's the backup catcher for the Baltimore Orioles.
I
And
idea.
he got an opportunity in a 17-0 game over the weekend to hit against a position player pitching. And he pulled out something very timely. He did the Happy Gilmore swing.
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
Stepped into it and went yard, especially on the weekend where Happy Gilmore 2 came out. Pretty cool thing. Is that disrespecting the game to you guys with a position player on the mound doing the Happy Gilmore swing, or is this just a viral marketing
I like
campaign?
that he made a mockery of the mockery. The mockery is having a position player pitch. I like that he made the mockery of the mockery. I'm pro Alan Jackson. Isn't he a country singer?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
The hell of a country singer.
This is Alex Jackson.
Oh, sorry, Alex Jackson.
Not Chattahoochee.
I'm pro Alex Jackson in this situation.
Yeah, no, that's sick. And also, it promotes people to watch a great movie. Andy, you've been saying Happy Gilmore 2. You're going to be watching it. You check it out yet?
I have not watched it yet. Obviously, the day that it came out, it seemed like a lot of people hated it. I've talked to people that have seemed to have liked it. I said to you guys on Friday, I am fully prepared to be extremely disappointed, and I'm still okay with it.
You won't be disappointed. I watched it yesterday.
And you laughed. Did you laugh and have fun with it?
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Then I'm in.
Yeah, it's just
I'm in.
some fun.
I'm not expecting like
It's not as good as the first one.
It's not going to be.
but-
I knew it wouldn't be as good as the first
But no,
one,
it's
and
still,
that's fine.
It's a fun watch. There are a lot of cameos. A lot. Like 70 cameos.
I do tend to not like that, like in a movie, but I'm not expecting to watch Happy Gilmore 2.
as like cinema.
Like,
yeah.
It's not winning any Oscars.
Yeah, exactly. But if I'm entertained, who cares?
Yeah, it's for the
Put it on
it's for nostalgia too.
Yes,
Like,
it's
definitely
going to be
worth a watch.
funny.
what it is.
CT
yeah.
seal of approval.
That's good. CT18. You give it how many bat flips?
4 out of 5 bat flips.
Okay, you're going
I
to
like
offend
that.
Mike with that.
Offend you.
I'm
You're,
not suspended for
you're
the next 4
Mr.
shows.
Play the
It
game
is.
the right way.
No, I don't.
You
have
wanted
any-
a 12-year-old to
I
be
don't have any-
suspended.
I don't have any problem with a bat flip in Major League Baseball.
Oh, so these are Major League Baseball bats.
If you have rules, I have offense with people going, well, there's a rule, but I don't want it to be followed. That's what I have a problem with. When there's a rule, Major League Baseball lets bat flips.
John Kincade hates each your own 12-year-olds. It's amazing.
Oh.
Coming up next, we go through all the latest rumors surrounding the Phillies at the trade deadline because it wasn't just Eugenio Suarez
Very
over
good
the
with that.
weekend. Thank you.
You could go to Ibiza with that.
Well, that's where Connor's going. A lot of players linked to the Phillies over the weekend. We'll go through them coming up next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Worries about Wheeler? I'm Connor Thomas. And the Phillies, well, they took 2 of 3 from the Yankees up in the Bronx, and the offense looked really good in games 1 and 2. They scored 24 total runs in the series, but they did not complete the sweep yesterday. Zack Wheeler had a rough performance, and it's his second one in a row where he hasn't quite looked right. Now, rough for him still isn't too bad, but are you worried about what Wheeler's shown lately? We'll be keeping an eye on his next start closely. We'll also be keeping an eye on MLB trade rumors as the deadline is on Thursday. We'll see what the Phils and Dave Dombrowski will do to improve the roster. They're heading up to Chicago tonight, take on the White Sox for 3 games. Game 1 is at 7:40 p.m. Christopher Sanchez versus Davis Martin, the pitching matchup. Also, Phillies legend Dick Allen was enshrined in Cooperstown yesterday as the Baseball Hall of Fame welcomed their latest class. The Eagles continue training camp today. New offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo talked over the weekend about adjusting to the new role and how it's not quite that different for him.
It's been fun. It's really not much different. It's probably there's a little more just talking to everybody, but overall it's about the same. But I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the energy's been great.
We'll hear from head coach Nick Serriani coming up at 9:30. We'll carry that live. This update's brought to you by Extreme Experience. They bring real supercar driving to New Jersey Motorsports Park August 14th through the 17th. No experience needed. Book now at extremeexperience.com. That's Extreme Experience, both with an X. Space is limited. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Hey, Sport.
Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. 3 days away from the MLB trade deadline. 6 o'clock on the 31st.
So at the end of Unfiltered on Thursday.
Correct.
It'll all be there.
Weird. Isn't it usually like 4?
I don't know.
I feel like 6 o'clock is different. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like 6 o'clock is. Because I remember listening to like Mike and then Ty and now Unfiltered this year.
Like you mean
Bill,
it coming at a certain time.
and then them being able to react when
I thought 4 was like
over.
NFL.
Maybe
and
that's what
maybe
I'm just getting
6
confused
is
by.
MLB. They could
just-
change that every year, and I would never
Right,
remember.
yeah, exactly. We just know that this year it's 6 o'clock
it's
on
a
the
day.
31st.
What I like is it's a day off. I like it's a day off for the Phillies.
Oh, that's
They
nice.
play the 3-game set in Chicago,
So we can just lock in.
and then maybe then they'll go, okay, let's get it down to brass tacks. By the way, the interesting thing yesterday, there's a little vignette they have on MLB Network they're running. A lot of people had MLB Network drop from their cable systems and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have Greg Caserta join us tomorrow from MLB Network about their coverage. Prices go down the longer you wait. Prices do not go up the longer you wait. So waiting does not mean you pay more. There is just a trend showing that the quicker you pull the trigger,
Right.
tends to be you pay a little more.
Unless there's a bidding war with one
Tends to be.
specific player.
Well, no, they show like 10 trade deadlines and just show you that the quicker you buy during trade deadline week, the more who blinks first pays more.
Right. So obviously the big name that we've really been paying attention to a lot this show because of the reporting over the weekend that the Phillies are in on Suarez, the third baseman from the Arizona Diamondbacks, who has 36 home runs this year, batting from the right side, which is something that the Phillies desperately need, pop and from the right side. He fits best of both worlds. Schwarber, where's that Schwarber at right now? 33 home runs?
Aren't they tied?
Good question.
Are they tied or not?
The only reason why I bring that up is the second Suarez gets here. All right, they're tied. So the second Suarez
That's
gets
awesome.
here, he's tied with Kyle Schwarber for most home runs on this team,
And I think
well
that'd be
ahead
fun.
second for the Phillies. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Schwarber's got 36.
Can you imagine Suarez and Schwarber in a lineup, left, right, back to back?
Well, what would be okay? Real quickly. What's your lineup?
I'm going Turner, Harper to split the left. I'd go Turner, Harper, Suarez, Schwarber.
Oh my gosh,
What's Suarez hitting this year average?
240 something.
242,
Okay.
245.
Yeah, that can work.
Right around the same as Schwarber.
I just worry about because the amount of pitches Schwarber sees and the stress that he puts on, because he puts together really good at bats in addition to the power. I like that protecting Harper, so I may keep him behind there.
Okay, but so is Suarez. He's been 247 with 36 home runs this year.
I mean, that's murderous.
Here's just the one issue with Suarez. My man likes to swing the bat.
Oh, he does.
That's why I'm saying maybe
Kyle Schwarber has
behind.
70 walks this year. Suarez has
30?
29.
Yeah, I was thinking like 30.
29. My man likes to swing, but he swings the bat. He leads the National League with 87 RBI, right?
a free
So
swinger.
like I'm going to take that.
The thing is, Connor, what I would just say to you is, I get your point, but ducks on the pond, he's going to be the best you got.
No, I got you. I'm just saying, Kyle Schwarber's a better chance to be on the pond, which is why, I'd rather have him ahead of that guy.
Yeah.
Right. Now, the beauty of adding a guy like Suarez, everybody then goes down, right? Like Castellanos drops to your 5-hole hitter. Real Muto's your 6-hole hitter.
And Real Muto's
Boom.
been playing like a guy who you put 6th and you're like, he's a good 6.
Right.
This past month.
Or maybe you go with Bohm 5 so that he's a guy that's getting on base or continuing the
I think you
hitting
go
going.
because he's been
Bohm's
getting on
5,
base. So Boom, I would go Bohm 5.
Then Castellanos 6, Real Muto 7, and now it's
that's a longer lineup.
Stott, Sosa, platoon with Crawford. When you call him up finally,
Crawford's gotta
batting
be
9th.
here.
And now all of a sudden you're like, wow, this lineup's good.
No, it's long.
Yeah.
It's a long.
And that's acquiring one guy.
Now remember, defense does weaken.
Correct.
Your defense does weaken at both corners.
Now, it's not just Suarez. There's other players that are being linked to the Phillies. Now, you mentioned the 3-game series in Chicago, or as you say, Chicago.
Yes.
With the White Sox. And there's a player on
Do
the
I say
White
that
Sox.
wrong to you?
Oh, yeah, very wrong.
Chicago?
It sounds...
I don't know what you're doing
It
wrong.
just sounds
but
different. No,
you
it might
said-
not be wrong.
I don't think
might
it's
just-
wrong.
And I usually drop a Chicago because it's a Lithuanian thing. But when I hear John say Chicago, it just
it sounds like there's a W in there.
When I say it, it's uncomfortable. Like I could feel it when I say it. It feels strange.
And I just say it that way. I mean, I say it that way from.
But Luis Robert Jr. is the player from the White Sox that a lot of people have been linking the Phillies to still, dating back to last year, and it has now continued into this season. I don't know what the asking price is because, like 2 weeks ago, we were talking about, hey, would you just take him for a bag of balls and just see what you got out of him? Now all of a sudden, there's reports that the White Sox want this, they want that, and it's like, what do you think you actually deserve for this guy right now? Like, there should not be a bidding war for a guy that's kind of been irrelevant for the last 2 years. The only reason why he's been irrelevant is trade talk.
That's all. That's the only reason why.
That's literally it.
Because he's terrible. He's terrible.
We could get a real gift from Luis Robert, and it doesn't have to deal with the Phillies.
What, going to the
What's
Mets?
that?
Yeah.
And being horrible?
Yes.
Well, why would he?
The Mets are interested, and they've already gone out and got Gregory Soto, which should make Phillies fans very happy. If their deadline is Robert and Soto, not Juan, no, Gregory Soto, I think Phillies fans should feel good about that.
Yeah. I still think they should be in the market for a starting pitcher. We'll see what the Mets end up doing.
Okay, just so you get it here, the American pronunciation is SHKAAGOW.
Chicago.
The local pronunciation as Chicagoans is SHKAWGA. Call. Chicago. So that is the locals' pronunciation, how it's pronounced in Chicago. Like call in Chicago. But that's the two pronunciations, but it says it's supposed to be KAAGOW. I think you may have a Delco pronunciation.
Maybe. Well,
maybe the Delco.
However you pronounce it, that's where the White Sox play.
I never knew I pronounced it wrong until you just told me.
I never say you say it wrong. I say you say it weird in our ears. And when I try to say it your way, it feels uncomfortable. So we'll see what Luis Robert Jr. where he goes, if he goes.
Let's say he gets hot this series, and then the Mets deal for him.
So here's what you do: is if you are up in this series significantly in any games, and he comes to the plate, just plate him a couple, up that price for the Mets.
Just for the Mets.
Just throw him batting practice and get everybody else out. I don't think they're going to do that.
Now, the Phillies have also been linked to multiple relievers, as we know about. Duran from the Twins is still a name that's being looked at a lot. Here's the thing with Duran. He's going to cost you a lot, and I would love to see it. Like, don't get me wrong. I would love to see it. Can you get by with a David Bednar from the Pirates, who's having a very good season, not the name of Duran, and would probably not cost as much? Still probably a decent haul because he's having such a good season. But could you get by with a Bednar instead of a Duran? Because anybody at this point is an improvement to what you have in this bullpen.
I don't know if that's the Temu version. No, I'm not buying Temu. Not buying a Temu. I'm not buying Temu relievers. I'm gonna.
Well, he's not Temu.
He's definitely. If you're talking about you wanted somebody really good to fix something that's controllable, to have somebody that's around, that's controllable, that's going to be around for a while. That's really good.
So in the last 5 seasons, by the way, you would have a full year of him still next year. In the last 5 seasons, he's posted an ERA below 3 in all but one. Last year, he had a bad year. He had a 5.77 ERA.
Maybe that's the recency bias in my head.
Yeah, relievers are like kickers, right? Like they could all of a sudden have a bad year. We saw with Jake Elliott. But in 2021, 2.23 ERA in 61 appearances, 2.61 in 45 the next year, 2 flat in 66 appearances in 23. Then the bad year last year, and so far this year, a 2.19 ERA. The beauty is the whip is lower than all of those years but one.
How old is he?
He is 30 years old. And you would have him for all of next season, too.
That's not bad.
He would not. Duran, you would have for 3 more years. So that's why he would cost you a lot. You could maybe get away with a Bednar because he walks in here as your best reliever. Better than Kerkering, better than Strom, better than David Robertson, who got hit around a little bit in AAA. Like,
Yeah, that could work. I want Duran really
No,
bad.
me too. It'd be fun,
He would
dude.
be
I just don't know
anybody
you-
besides Painter can go for Duran, in my opinion.
And he'd be electric in the city.
Oh, my gosh.
We would love him.
And you'd have years
in
to
this
love
city.
him.
Right, exactly. All right, coming up next, I want to celebrate Kyle Schwarber. He had a major milestone this weekend. There was a cool story with it from Yankee Stadium. Also, there was another milestone this weekend from another player in Major League Baseball, but obviously ties to Philadelphia and the Philadelphia area. And I have a question off of it. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Birds Insider update on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'm Connor Thomas, and training camp continues for the Birds as they get ready to prepare for start preparing for their 2025-26 title defense season. And football fans, it's not the Eagles, but Thursday, we're going to have a legitimate football game. Well, as legitimate as the Hall of Fame game is. Either way, the first preseason game for the NFL is this week, so we're right around the corner from seeing some Eagles on the field. We're also right around the corner from getting our first glimpse in a game of what Kevin Patullo's offense is going to look like. And the Eagles' new offensive coordinator met with media over the weekend, and he talked about the differences between his previous roles and his role so far as offense coordinator. Doesn't seem like he thinks it's that different.
It's been fun. It's really not much different. It's probably there's a little more just talking to everybody, but overall it's about the same. But I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the energy's been great.
And that's easy to say as we're just a week or so into training camp. It's going to take a lot more to feel comfortable once he starts calling the plays. But speaking of things not being different, Patullo also talked about how the Eagles' offense still pretty run-centric.
I think we're still the Eagles' offense. I don't think that'll change. I think it starts with the run game up front, and then we just build from there. And then obviously we'd like to try new things here and there, and we'll see kind of how that goes throughout training camp and where it leads us to.
So, as always, we're keeping a strong eye on the Birds. We'll hear from head coach Nick Serriani coming up today at 9:30 a.m. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The Fanatic. Congratulations to Kyle Schwarber over the weekend in the series against the Yankees. Schwarber had his 1,000th career hit in his major league career. And it was, of course, a home run. So I used the handy-dandy calculator. Connor, he has 320 home runs. 320 home runs, 1,004 total hits. That means 32% of his career hits have been home runs.
You needed the calculator for that one?
Yes. Yes. I don't hide my stupidity from anyone.
320 of 1,000 is 32%.
I don't hide my stupidity from anyone. So congratulations to Kyle Schwarber. I'm about to turn off this mic and come over there and hit you with my calculator. Anyways, cool moment at the Bronx because Connor wasn't athletic enough to catch it. When Schwarber hit the home run, it was to a group of Phillies fans that hit it, that caught it. And it was a group of three friends. Three. So after the game, Schwarber.
What percent of that is 10?
1, 2, 3. Schwarber met with the three Phillies fans, and they talked about, they got the autographed baseball and all that kind of stuff.
What percentage of them got baseballs?
67%, because 2/3 of them got it. You guys want to do the rest of the show? Because I'll go home, gladly. Kyle Schwarber got 2 baseballs signed for him. And the one guy that didn't get one, Schwarber felt bad for. And Schwarber said, I'll go get you another baseball. And the guy said, don't bother, just re-sign with the Phillies.
Love that.
That's a great line by the 1/3 of the friend group.
He did get a ball, by the way.
Yes, he did eventually go get him a ball, which is really cool. But I think that's a great, immediate line to have.
That's a great line.
No, just re-sign with the Phillies. That's all we want.
Thank you on behalf of all of us for delivering that message to that fan. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Now, there was another milestone over the weekend. It made me think. So Mike Trout got his 1,000th career RBI when he hit his home run the other day. And I just wonder, how is he going to get remembered?
It's a great question.
A great stats compiler.
Because he never won anything. He's been on such a
great stats
bad
compiler. Team
forever. Yeah, but when you say stats compiler, that makes you think of James Harden. He's not James Harden. But he's never accomplished anything.
He's a great stats compiler. His numbers are great. His stats are great. He's never.
Yeah, that feels backhanded.
It does.
No, I mean it means he's a great stats compiler. He's never been on anything of a team of merit. His stats are amazing. He's a great stats compiler. Great.
3-time MVP.
How can I say great? He's a great stats compiler. He's great.
Man, 4-time runner-up.
He's great.
He's been in the top 2 for MVP voting 7 times.
He's great.
Career.
He's a great stats compiler. His stats are great. But it doesn't lead to anything. And he's been a guy that has always hit out on building his sport. He has not wanted to be front and center with promoting his sport, building his sport, which I think also has hurt him.
Yeah, I think part of it, though, I think the ultimate takeaway from Mike Trout's career at the end will be the number one example in this sport, and maybe any sport, of wasting the career, an organization wasting the career of an all-time great player.
Yeah, now here's the thing. I know the Angels tried. First off, they had Ohtani. They paid Rendon and probably didn't realize that he didn't like baseball. That guy's a mess.
Jerk.
They signed pitchers. They tried. It's just.
But they missed on everything.
Right, exactly. And then of course he felt very comfortable. And we had this conversation recently about look at Dame Lillard. He just went right back to Portland. He's never going to win.
Yeah, loyalty may have cost Mike Trout a higher standing in the baseball annals.
Maybe. Or the major contract. Is anybody going to give up a ton for a guy that is not healthy?
See, why do you call it loyalty?
Well, because other players would have seen the Angels organization and the issues with that. And rather than signing the big contract to stay with the team that doesn't seem set to win, would have gone elsewhere and joined a team with a better chance to compete.
But he knew they were not set to win. He knew the last big contract that he signed with them.
Yeah.
After Harper signed. He knew they were not set to win.
Right.
He knew they had no history of winning, and he couldn't wait to run and sign that long-term contract again.
Right, because he wanted to, it seemed like, stay loyal to the organization that he'd been with.
Or he's just comfortable there.
And
Because
he
he's made it very clear that he's comfortable being a player for the Angels.
Since that contract, 53 games, 36 games, 119 games, 82 games, 29 games, 80 games.
Yeah. The 53 game was the
So
COVID
he
season,
ran
just
to
so
sign that contract, and he's played in
clarity.
around 35% of the games that he's been eligible for.
No, injuries are definitely going to be part of the equation, but when you look back at the baseball player, I think the bigger waste is the time he spent with an organization that couldn't win.
It's just like it feels not the same. Like, you know how like Jason Peters just kept playing and we were like, oh my God, like this guy should still play. He's 33 in Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Like he should still play. It's been a long time since we saw Mike Trout. 2022, he had 40 home runs. But
he's been broken down since 28, though.
Yeah.
Since he was 28.
And he reached a major milestone. Like 1,000 RBI is a major milestone. But it's been sad the last couple of years.
No, I mean, he's got amazing. Again, he is a great stats compiler. Amazing stats. His stat line jumps off the page.
All right, coming up next. How many NFL players turned a profit in February? What a wild story. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now, on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A series win in the Bronx. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies took 2 of 3 from the Yankees up there in New York City over the weekend. They scored 24 total runs in the series. The offense was cooking in games 1 and 2. But they were unable to complete the sweep as Zack Wheeler struggled a bit in yesterday's game. Still, a series win, coming off a series win against Boston, you'll take that. And we'll see if the Phillies can do that again as they head to Chicago tonight to take on the White Sox for 3 games. Game 1 is at 7:40 this evening. Christopher Sanchez faces off against Davis Martin in that pitching matchup. It's not the only thing we're going to be watching this week. The trade deadline in Major League Baseball is on Thursday, so we'll keep you updated on what the Phils and Dave Dombrowski will do to improve the roster. Also, Phillies legend Dick Allen was enshrined in Cooperstown yesterday as the Baseball Hall of Fame welcomed in their latest class. The Eagles continue training camp today. New offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo talked over the weekend, and he talked about his adjustment to his new role with the team and how it doesn't feel all that different to him.
It's been fun. It's really not much different. It's probably there's a little more just talking to everybody, but overall it's about the same, but I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the energy's been great.
Now, that's in relation to training camp. We'll see what the play calling duties have in store for him. Nick Seriani will talk with media coming up at 9:30 this morning. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the
Big prize, man.
Whoa. What are you giving away?
$50 to anything's nice, but $50 to Primo Hoagies is even better. Primo Hoagies was voted the best sandwich shop in America by USA Today for the third consecutive year. So props to our friends over at Primo's. If you don't feel like cooking, skip the grill and get Primo Hoagies instead. It's not just a hoagie, it's a Primo. We have 5 this week.
Whoa.
So one a day, we will be giving away a $50 gift card to Primo Hoagie. So what we'll do, today we'll do the 9 o'clock hour.
Good.
Maybe we'll do a little Know the Schefter on Wednesday and mix it around a little bit. But today, listen closely throughout the 9 o'clock hour and after the key 3 or right before the key 3. Oh, no, we have Serriani today.
Sirianni.
Yes, we got to do it early.
So as we await Serriani, because it'll be like 15 minutes before he comes on, we'll give the Know the Show question. So more so half of the 9 o'clock hour for your chance to win the $50 gift card to Primo's.
Well, he'll be here around 9:35 or so.
Yeah, something like that. All right. NFL players. We don't know who just yet, but at least 100 of them will be fined or have been fined for selling Super Bowl tickets above face value. A crazy story. Our old buddy, Rob Motti from the Associated Press broke the news this past Friday that the NFL is fining about 100 players and 24 club employees for violating a league policy, which is when you sell your Super Bowl tickets above face value. Now, the whistleblower is still anonymous because they're still working through the investigation, but the players will be fined 1.5 times above the face value they paid, which I don't know what face value Super Bowl tickets go for, but
$400 to $600.
Okay.
I think $400 to $600, something like that.
Now, I'm sure they probably got them sold. I'm sure they probably made a pretty penny.
Some of them some of the player sections, maybe $800, $1,200.
Okay. So they'll be fined 1.5 times the face value they
they're
paid.
getting away with murder then. Because they probably sold them for more than that.
Exactly. The club employees, which I find interesting because I imagine some of these players get paid more than the club employees, depending on the role of the club employee. They're getting fined 2 times the face value. Why the difference? Why is the player?
Because they're executives. Because they're executives. We're not talking club employees as far as. Look, if you're a member of the front office of the Ravens, you get Super Bowl tickets. If you're a public relations person for the Ravens, you do not. Even though if you go work the Super Bowl, you might, but you're going to be working the game. If you're an executive of one of these teams, you should be charged more.
And by the way, this is not necessarily all Eagles and Chiefs related. This could be
just happened to be that game.
Right.
And I promise you, nobody within the Eagles or the Chiefs was selling their tickets above because they were giving tickets. There
to
were
their family
people
members,
within, and there were players that were like, "Hey, they get more tickets given to them, not given to them, access to them,
right,
to buy. By the way, to buy, and the tickets were a couple thousand. I mean, it was expensive."
So there was a memo sent to teams obtained by the Associated Press. Our initial investigation has determined that a number of NFL players and coaches employed by several NFL clubs, so again, not just Eagles, Chiefs,
correct,
sold Super Bowl tickets for more than the ticket's face value in violation of the policy.
Well, they sold them to a company that the NFL Players Association set up, too.
Oh, really?
Yes. These dirtbags that they just got out of the NFL Players Association. Too, which isn't good.
Now, some of them bundled. So the quote-unquote bundlers, according to the story, will face even increased penalties. So who knows if there would be even more than the 1.5 above face value for
Not
the
the
tickets.
best move ever, guys.
No.
What?
If a guy gets given a ticket, and it's a game, isn't it?
What do you mean?
They bought the ticket. How many times we see that in real life?
Okay, but you're told
there's people that buy season tickets and then they.
But you're told
if
you buy the ticket, you may not resell it. There's a rule. For God's sakes, do we have to do this again? You're given the option. Hey, Andrew, as an employee, you can buy a ticket to the Super Bowl. You may not resell it for profit. It's a rule.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not surprised that a player did it though, trying to turn a profit.
Okay, but it's a rule. It is against the rules. You can't do it. You can't go whore yourself out. That's why they do it, because people want to go to this game. So they're like, you as an employee get a gift. You can buy one at face value. Don't go whore yourself out.
Correct.
And go and try to sell it. Oh my gosh.
Now, in advance of Super Bowl 60,
are there any? You're gonna have to make a list of rules that you are willing to follow in life for me.
that I'm willing to follow. I follow a lot of rules. You know
that you're
that.
okay with.
No, that I'm okay with. I don't. There's a lot of rules that I'm not
Are you
okay
with this rule? For an NFL employee to get to buy one?
People do it every day.
Seriously?
People do it every day in life.
So you think, look, all the fans that want to be able to go to games,
Yeah.
that want to be able to buy tickets.
I could say the same thing about Citizens Bank Park.
No, but they can't because the tickets, I promise you this, if a Phillies employee does this, they're fired.
Correct.
So one of these guys, they're getting lucky.
Yeah, I think this is fair. Like, listen, if we could prosecute people who ticket gouged, like individuals, probably a lot of people would want to do that because you're screwing over the average ticket buyer.
You're screwing over the
public.
average ticket buyer.
The only difference is you have the ability to find these people because they are employees of your league.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean that they should be. Look, you're an employee of the league. You get a gift opportunity. Hey, now you still got to put down your credit card,
Right.
but you get an opportunity to buy a ticket to the Super Bowl. The only rule being you buy it at face value, but you cannot sell it.
By the way, according to the story, they are going to increase the penalty for future violations. So
I love it.
Because I don't. Forgive me, I don't remember this story coming out
haven't heard of
before this year. Maybe it does. Maybe it has. And so now,
It has come out before, yes.
I'm going to compare this to the Kirk Cousins Saquon Barkley thing, the tampering.
Uh-huh.
Remember how we talked about tampering's always done? It is. There's tampering every single year in football. I wonder if they were going to try to make an example. I was worried that they were going to try to make an example of the Eagles and Falcons. They really didn't. It really wasn't all that bad, even though Kirk Cousins straight up admitted behind a microphone that he spoke with team personnel before he was signed.
And the dirty rat in Happy Valley out of the
Oh,
Eagles.
yeah. Yes. Penn State head coach.
Seriously. James Franklin.
But I wonder if this was the let's make an example of these players and members of the organizations this year, and then we'll
by the way,
increase
make their
fine.
names public. Every one of them should have their name public.
Probably should. They probably should be.
They should do that.
All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Don't forget, from now until Nick Sirianni, who will be speaking allegedly around 9:30. It won't be 9:30. It'll be later than that. We'll play Know the Show. Listen closely for really the next half hour. And I will ask a question before Sirianni starts speaking to the media, and the winner would get a $50 gift card to Primo Hoagies. What do we got on the text line, Connors? We've talked a lot about the Phillies and the upcoming trade deadline. We've also talked about the Eagles, speaking of Nick Sirianni, and the unselfishness of this football team and how it just really feels like across the board. And it starts at the quarterback, right? The fact that he's willing to be like, oh, I won't throw for 4,000 yards or 3,500 yards, whatever, because I want my team to win. This Cam Newton discourse that's been going on over the weekend.
By the way, Cam Newton had one great season in the pros.
Yeah.
One. My gosh.
And he straight up said he'd rather have his MVP award than winning a Super Bowl.
And
that kind of tells you.
I got to tell you, got to know Cam a little in Atlanta. He used to use our studios to tape stuff for back in the day, doing his little stuff. I can tell you that I believe him when he says that. I believe a personal accolade means
more,
just as much to him. No, just as much to him. So I believe that when he answered that way, it does. He loves walking around being like MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it matters much.
I remember Super Bowl champions more than MVPs.
I would
honestly.
too. I would too.
I really do.
I remember that he wouldn't dive on a ball in a Super Bowl.
Yep, I remember that too, and that's what that video was tweeted out a lot.
By the
this
way,
weekend.
I remember when they were also 4.5 or 5 point favorites when that game closed. Going into that game, they were favorites, Heavy favorites
Yeah.
to win that Super Bowl.
That Broncos defense was nasty, though.
And they didn't win the Super
That
Bowl.
Broncos defense was nasty.
Peyton Manning had nothing.
Yes, he did
that
not have
point.
anything. All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor?
All right, so we have a check-in on that Eagles culture conversation. This texter says the credit should go to Jalen and the way he was raised, then the culture. Sirianni is unbelievably secure in himself, and it comes across. Love the way this team is being run.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jalen Hurts, the person's a big part of this. And Sirianni, again, Jeff McClain last week when we had him on talking about how Sirianni's totally fine with being behind the weeds, like that goes a long way. Now, there might come a time where you might need him to do more. If Patullo is swimming this year, he's in over his head, you might need Sirianni to step up, unlike what he did 2 years ago when he didn't step up with Brian Johnson. Maybe he couldn't because maybe he's not a great offensive mind or play caller like we've talked about.
Just a theory.
Yeah, but if this team is playing well and he's fine with just being in the background except for a couple outbursts here and there, that's good. Like, I love when a team can show little ego and be as successful as they are. And that's what this team showed you last year. What else we got?
All right, we also have a check-in on the trade deadline for the Phillies, and Mike says Phillies need to be creative and include Bohm in a Suarez deal. I'd also take a flyer on Luis Robert, very low risk. You could do Bohm, Crawford, another mid-tier prospect for Eugenio Suarez. You'd still have pieces to upgrade the bullpen.
Well, why do we need to put Bohm in? That's what the text said, right? We need to.
Why?
You might not need to.
You definitely don't need to.
And more importantly, why?
I'm saying
it's stupid.
Look, if there is a bidding war and it's, hey, you have to include Alec Bohm, hand up, I would.
By the way, why do you think the Diamondbacks want Alec Bohm?
Because you have him under control next year. Like, that's
like why? But again, the entire Major League Baseball had an opportunity to get Alec Bohm last offseason. Phillies had no bites.
Well, not at the asking price that the Phillies wanted, which could have been too high.
They were asking the Royals for like one of their starting pitchers or something last year.
Here's what I'll say. Alec Bohm is probably a top 10 third baseman in sport right now. Yeah,
I think so. I think that's fair.
So
that's around the neighborhood.
I'd say there'd be a couple of teams that'd be interested.
But
in the
there
top 10
were
third
obviously
baseman.
enough red flags because he was a top 10 third baseman in baseball last offseason. Nobody wanted him.
I got you. I just don't think it's fair to be like, why would the Diamondbacks want him? I think Alec Bohm is an attractive player, especially for organizations outside the Phillies that don't know the day-to-day of like he's got these attitude issues or whatever. Remember, something you got to remember about GMs, presidents of baseball operations, any sport around trade deadline time, a lot of guys think they can fix
Plus,
guys.
they're probably trying to wonder what's with this injury. I try to figure out what this injury
I think you're the only ones to
they're trying to figure out where the injury is and when's he coming back. You don't trade for an injured player.
Well, unless you're a team that's out of the playoffs and you have him next year because the Diamondbacks aren't making the playoffs and you'd have Bohm all next season. Too.
Yeah.
Look, it's just, I don't think you need to include him. If he's included, I'd be okay with it. Let me make that clear.
You wouldn't lose any sleep.
No.
I'm not doing that.
I wouldn't lose.
I don't want to.
All right, then let's say it's Suarez or bust. What
was his deal though? What was he giving up?
Suarez, Bohm, Crawford, and another mid-tier prospect. That's way too much.
That's too much.
Too much.
But if it was Bohm and Abel, like I wouldn't be like, no, can't do that. I might.
Then Max Kepler's your left fielder.
I might.
How
Yeah, because then you're keeping Max Kepler. No. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I don't like Max Kepler.
Yeah, well, look at that. Then Bohm's not moving.
Then Bohm's not going anywhere.
This isn't that
I don't think the
complicated
Phillies
for
are moving Bohm. I just don't think
so either. I'm just saying, like the whole.
No, but I don't think he's. I don't think that's a call that they're.
He's not a guy that I'm attached to.
Yeah, but I don't think
that's to be attached to him.
I don't think that's a move that they're making. That's creating too big of a hole.
You don't like anybody, but some guys have to be on this team.
Yes, exactly.
I just don't like slapping singles. That's all. All right, coming up next, I learned something this morning. That there's a Hall of Fame stat. And not a fun fact about the Hall of Fame, but a stat that tells you if you're a Hall of Famer or not.
Really?
Learned about that today. Where does Bryce Harper currently stand? I'll tell you next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
If you're telling me Bryce is
I know you value stats more than me sometimes, depending on the conversation. When it comes to Hall of Fame voting, isn't it more so like a feel? Sometimes statistics like how many home runs, how many strikeouts, that kind of stuff comes into play. But like, don't you sometimes just sit there and go, yes or no?
Yeah,
Hall
there
of
are
Fame
like
player?
4 or 5 magic numbers, but unless those are glaringly like yes or no, then it's kind of a judgment call.
So I read an article on CBS this morning.
Okay.
The Baseball Hall of Fame active players on track for Cooperstown. All right? And they put a list of the locks. And the locks were Mike Trout, Justin Verlander, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, Mookie Betts. On the cusp, Aaron Judge, Paul Goldschmidt, I don't really feel. Freddie Freeman, Manny Machado, Nolan Arenado, Chris Sale, Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez, and Bryce Harper.
Wow.
So Bryce Harper, I have a feeling, could legitimately make it to the Hall of Fame.
I think he could legitimately get there. I think Freddie ahead of him, on path or behind,
It was just the
or
article.
neck and neck to you.
I'd say ahead of him.
I think ahead of him.
Yeah. So I learned that there's a stat for Hall of Fame.
What?
Jaws.
Stat.
Not the shark, but Jaws, still spelled the same way, Jaws. Do you know the name Jay Jaffe?
Jay Jaffe, yes.
Covers Major League
Yes,
Baseball.
yes.
He has a book on,
Yes,
the case
yes.
for Cooperstown.
Okay.
Jaws is the Jaffe War Score System.
Oh, jeez.
A player's Jaws is his career WAR average with his 7-year peak.
Oh, boy.
I don't need all this.
Come on, dude.
So when I'm reading the article, the reason why I bring this up is the very first sentence for or against Harper's case mentions the Jaws stat.
Dun, 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 dun.
He sits just 28th in Jaws, well below the Hall of Fame average, and just a touch above Brian Giles. There's more to Harper, though, notably a feel and fame factor. Two-time MVP eventually gets his numbers to where it really isn't a question. He's at 1,700 hits, 391 doubles, 351 home runs, over 1,000 RBI, over 1,000 runs scored. Bryce Harper, I don't need a stat to tell me if a guy is a Hall of Famer or not. But according to this article on CBS, he's below average for Hall of Famers. Do people take that stuff into account? I'm kidding. The people that vote. Do people take that stuff into account?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there that look at those advanced analytic numbers on WAR and the Jaws stat and all of that and use that as part of their argument. I don't know if they should or not, but I'd be surprised if a good number of people are not looking at that who vote.
Do you believe he's a Hall of Famer if he never played again? If he never played again, is he a Hall of Famer?
No.
But I expect him to continue to play.
There's a real chance he gets to 500 home runs.
There's a real chance that he is a Hall of Famer. I mean, he is on I would say Bryce Harper's on a Hall of Fame trajectory.
Yeah, I think he's about 5 years out.
Correct. I mean, there it is.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory.
I find it weird that that's that there's a stat for literally Hall of Fame stat.
Well, the reason it exists is the part about the 7-year
the 7-year prime, right? But then I can make then you can make a case for so many guys. There's a guy that I always bring up as one of the most incredible stretches that I've ever seen, and then just an absolute fall off, and that was Travis Hafner with the then Indians, now Cleveland Guardians, where he was a 300+ hitter.
He was like
30 to 40 home runs for 5 consecutive seasons. Then he gets hurt for a season. Then he bounces back. And then he wasn't necessarily the same. But there was a 6-year stretch where he was one of the better players in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, like Ryan.
But Travis Hafner is not a Hall of Famer.
No.
Like Ryan Howard's not a Hall of Famer.
Ryan Howard's not even in the discussion.
But his peak
Correct.
is as good as pretty much anybody who's ever played the sport.
Absolutely.
Right, and his was 7 years. 58, 47, 48, 45,
Yes.
31, 33. That's 6 years where he was arguably the most feared hitter in Major League
Correct.
Baseball. But Ryan Howard's not a Hall of Famer.
No, it doesn't make you a Hall of Famer.
So that's why I don't get these stats that we can try to use.
Let me ask you a tough question. If Bryce Harper's career ended today, and the Hall of Fame said you could put one of them in, Bryce Harper or Ryan Howard.
Oh, it's Harper. It's not even close.
Yeah, 2-time MVP.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would say Howard
Really?
because of the dominance of the fear of the at bat. I mean, he went through the fear of the at bat of Ryan Howard was wild. I go Harper every time on that answer, but
I think very few people would put Howard over Harper right now in this moment.
because that his stretch was wild.
Oh, so I looked up Ryan Howard's 06 to 11. So that's 6 seasons, right? Because he's a career. The people that value WAR, which I think is the dumbest stat in the world, his career WAR is 1.2. Like that's not good.
No, it's not
according to these statistical nerds.
Yes.
But during that 6-year stretch, his WAR was 16.2.
Correct.
So, based off of this Jaffe guy, he's a Hall of Famer. But he's not.
He's not.
But based off of Harper's, he's not.
Correct.
But you know that he is.
But you know that
it's
exactly.
so weird. Like, why do we have to have stats for everything?
Exactly.
My God. All right. Coming up next. Nick Sirianni will speak to the media around 9:40. Don't forget your chance to win a Primo $50 gift card every day this week by playing Know the Show. Also, we'll check more of your text line as there's been a lot of conversation about the Phillies and the upcoming trade deadline and whether or not it's actually worth going all in. That's kind of a conversation we've had for a few weeks. I've never sort of swayed for my opinion. A lot of people on YouTube earlier this morning were kind of hesitant. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils go bombing in the Bronx. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phils took 2 of 3 from the Yankees up in the Bronx over the weekend. They scored 24 total runs in this series, most of those coming in games 1 and 2. But unfortunately, they were unable to complete the sweep yesterday. Zack Wheeler struggled again with his command, and it was a very uncharacteristic start for Wheeler. He wasn't terrible, but not as good as the Phillies needed him to be to win. With the trade deadline on Thursday, we're going to keep you updated on what the Phils and Dave Dombrowski will do to improve the roster. We'll also keep an eye on Wheeler when he makes his next start. But the Phillies, they're not done yet. They're heading to Chicago to take on the White Sox for 3 games starting tonight. 7:40 p.m. first pitch for Game 1. Christopher Sanchez versus Davis Martin, the pitching matchup. Also, Phillies legend Dick Allen was enshrined in Cooperstown yesterday as the Baseball Hall of Fame welcomed their latest class. The Eagles continue training camp today. Offense coordinator Kevin Patullo talked about his new role with the team over the weekend.
It's been fun. You know, it's really not much different. It's probably there's a little more just talking to everybody, but overall it's about the same. But I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the energy's been great.
We'll hear from head coach Nick Sirianni coming your way at 9:40 this morning. This update's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are back with offers on vehicles like the 2025 E-Class, CLE Coupe, C-Class, and EQE Sedan. Hurry in now through July 31st. Learn more at MBUSA.com/dream. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
should be on time if 9:40 is the start.
Well, he gets to start a little later this time because Howie's not going to speak over him. This time he actually gets to.
No, it's not that Howie speaks over him. It's that the reporters ask Howie more questions.
Well, if Howie's
because it's
there,
the one time he's there.
If Howie's there, he's gonna,
Yeah, they
just
should.
speak in.
They should split it up. But whatever.
Seriously,
That's just us complaining. Content.
Give Nick his microphone.
For people that care about this stuff, Madden 26 announced the 99 Club for this year. The players that have the 99 overall rating. 2 Eagles in the 99 Club.
Okay,
Yeah. Saquon and Lane Johnson
Well
in the
deserved.
99 Club. The other players that are on here, Lamar Jackson, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Josh Allen, Myles Garrett. Can't really complain about any of those tremendous players. But how about 2 Eagles in the 99 Club for Madden this year?
Okay, can you give me the not playing the games?
Yeah.
Can you give me the 99, how rare that is?
They do a couple a year.
Normally like 5 or 6.
It's gotten
5 or 6 players in the whole league?
I will say
Yeah.
this.
Oh.
Been more recently.
So,
I think.
so ratings have
remember-
gotten easier?
Maybe more people want to. Maybe they think that gets more people to play. I don't know. I remember
Well, I
when it
know
was like
more
2 or
players
3.
complain nowadays.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. The Madden ratings that people complain about. But yeah, I feel like 7's a lot. There's 7 players this year, but whatever. I hope everybody has fun playing Madden whenever it comes out. Speaking of having fun, you gave me some attendance numbers during the commercial break about the Savannah Bananas that
These
people
numbers-
like to try to poo-poo.
These numbers are wild. Like, they had a 3-game set in June in Charlotte. They had 148,000 people for a 3-game set. It's almost $50,000 a night. They played Angel Stadium in Anaheim. Got 90,000 people for 2 games.
That's probably more than what the Angels
They
get.
do. Yes, it is. They had 81,000 people plus at Clemson, selling out Clemson's football stadium. They had 65,000 people selling out Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. I mean, these numbers are wild. Absolutely wild.
And you mentioned Charlotte.
I mean,
Charlotte doesn't have a Major League Baseball team.
People
They're the
are-
home of the AAA Charlotte Knights, which is the minor league team for the White Sox.
I mean, is just respectfully, this is absolutely now on. I have YouTube TV. On YouTube TV, there's something that I could buy that I don't, but there's something that I can buy because it comes up on one of my screens where it's like you can buy a subscription to watch the Savannah Bananas games. Like they sell it,
Right.
So you can watch their games. It is an absolute phenomenon. And it's a phenomenon that people are flocking to and buying tickets to that, let's just say, as I said, and it's not a shot. It is a reference point. You brought it up. We can keep it to baseball. The Angels are not getting 45,000 people a night. The Bananas getting 2 nights and getting 45,000 packing the place 2 nights in a row. The Citizens Bank Park, you just saw it. Now the Phillies do average almost 42,000.
Right.
So the Phillies do that. But the Bananas do it too. Pack the place. It's a phenomenon.
Yeah, and you don't have to like it, but the poo-pooing of the Banana, like I've never gone.
But people will say to you, "Oh my gosh, the WNBA is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You got to be watching. You got to be going." And it's like, look, dude, like 11,000 people go to the average game that the WNBA
Well, and those
opens its
11,000 people love it,
Right, and they do,
then
and
you're
it's great.
happy for those
And it's-
11,000 people.
Exactly. But this is a phenomenon. This is a crazy, wild, absolutely, people are watching this at record numbers.
Yeah, and in fairness to the W, it's like however many games a night. So if you average that 11,000 across the league.
Well, yeah, like the Bananas, they're
a
in
one
town,
show thing.
but then I'll go to the Globetrotters example. The
Exactly.
Globetrotters aren't selling out.
And the Globetrotters are getting, what, $5-6 grand when they come?
And they're a hell of a
And they're a great
experience.
show, and it's a great thing, but it is an absolutely wild phenomenon and a great marketing experience. And I think a lot of dudes are jealous.
Yeah.
I think a lot of dudes are jealous
Could
because
be.
they maybe played college ball or they maybe played minor league baseball, and then they didn't get to do anything with it afterwards because they weren't good enough to play pro baseball. And these guys have found a way. They're good looking enough and they're athletic enough. And they found a way to make a living off it. And by the way, these guys are viral superstars.
Right.
And by the way, some of them, now I read this, some of them are making multiple $200,000 to $400,000 in marketing deals on the side.
Sure.
Like modeling and stuff and doing stuff, marketing products.
I'm sure.
This is awesome.
Yeah, good for them.
Great for them.
How about this though? No more backflips on the news. Can we?
Well,
can we-
That was wild.
Can we just do that?
I mean,
that was,
face plant.
that was a slam dunk.
It's not the biggest face plant on CNN this year, but it's big face plants. I mean, and he hit. It was flat. I mean, it was nose.
Here's the
It was
thing.
nose.
See, that goes right in my head because I don't even know what you're talking
It was
about.
nose
I don't
on the
watch the news.
It was
so I-
nose on the ground. I mean, he hit nose on the ground. It was terrible. Awful.
By the way, YouTube has been very curious with this Jaws stat. I'm curious by it, too, that somebody uses a stat for the Hall of Fame. And one of our commenters asked where Bobby Abreu is. I just want to make sure that
where
I have
is
the right
Bobby?
person. That I think it was Joseph Brennan that asked it. I apologize. You guys are very active right now, and
Is
I appreciate
Bobby
it.
ahead of Harper?
Bobby Abreu's high on the list.
He has to be ahead of Harper.
Bobby Abreu is 22nd.
And where's Harper?
Harper's 28th. Among right fielders, just right fielders.
Abreu would have to be ahead of Harper.
Abreu, by the way, 22nd, one spot ahead of Vlad Guerrero, who is in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Also ahead of multiple other Hall of Famers, including Dave Parker, rest in peace, who was just inducted
That was
yesterday.
terrible. You know he taped it, though, right? Which is good, too. He had a taped letter to it. It was great.
Dave Parker's 43rd on this list.
Yeah, see, this is why, like, it's not a end-all, be-all, but it's a useful tool to marry peak with overall performance
is
over a career.
Is it useful? Like,
Yeah.
Is it?
I think Bobby Abreu should be in consideration for the Hall of Fame. I really do.
Well, Bryce Harper's in consideration. Bobby
Right.
Abreu's got to be.
But it's funny how it's a useful tool, but there's going to be people that are going to say, man, there's just something about Bobby that's not a Hall of Famer. And yet he's above Hall of Famers in this statistic.
Here's the thing. Every number is useful. You just need to understand how much you should or shouldn't use it in certain instances.
The only thing is, though, is that the only problem with that, Connor, is that that's how you're going to decide to look at the number compared to how Andrew does, compared to how I do, however. So then it makes it like, what does the number mean? Now, the thing is, I respect both of your baseball acumen enough.
Not as much as Ricky Patullo.
No, that is the truth. That's an honest statement. I respect his baseball acumen more than yours. If that offends you, I'm sorry. But I would respect that your opinions on that. So when you guys say, okay, I respect this number, I would listen to it and go, why? The average fan, I don't know. Like, I mean, it depends on who's telling me the number.
But it's also like,
who's quoting the number to me.
And numbers. See, here's the thing. I'll bring up Jimmy Rollins for an example. Right?
Like Jimmy Rollins to me. Jimmy Rollins over Chase.
Yes.
all day long and twice on Sunday. And I love Chase.
And it's not just.
And I love Chase.
But we also know it more than others. So Jimmy Rollins is 34th on this list, ahead of other Hall of Famers. I don't believe Jimmy Rollins is going to get into the Hall of Fame, and I think that's wrong. Not only statistically does he belong among other shortstops, we know him as the leader of that baseball team. A baseball team that didn't make it to the playoffs for 14 years, right? It was a long drought before they made it to the playoffs. He's a part of the team that comes out. He's a part of the team that wins the World Series. He's the vocal leader, the face of the team to beat guy, right? And there's people that write for baseball and vote for baseball that live in Colorado that have no idea that the impact that Jimmy Rollins made with the Phillies.
By the way, just in case, Davis CPA Group made a donation to the AACR, and you can too. Go to 975thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research saves lives. Saved mine 3 times over, and I greatly appreciate it, and I love you, Ron Davis.
That's good work. And you know what? While we're at it, because Nick Seriani speaks to the media next, our Know the Show question. First person to name the stat that we have been referencing for this Hall of Fame voting that I never heard of until this morning. What is the name of it? You could just give the acronym. You don't have to give the entire name for it. First one to 610-206-0975. That's 610-206-0975. will win our first of our 5 Primo gift cards that we're giving out this week for $50. Congratulations to Primos. Voted best sandwich, in America by USA Today for the 3rd consecutive year. Don't feel like cooking? Skip the grill and get Primo hoagies instead. It's not just a hoagie, it's a Primo. Nick Sirianni next here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We want to hear from you, so text us at 610-632. We await Nick Sirianni, who'll be speaking to the media momentarily. Connor, just let me know. Jeff Passan, remember how a couple weeks ago he did his percentage chances of players getting traded? He updated it with the trade deadline happening in a couple days. He and Kylie McDaniel of ESPN. Suarez is at a 90% chance. Eugenio Suarez from the Diamondbacks. Another player, Stephen Kwan's only a 10% chance. So there's an update to that.
It's because the Indians don't, Guardians, I don't think that they look to trade away young, controllable talent. Like, that's not their business model.
Right.
It's what I was telling you.
They're a very cheap organization.
Well, it's what I was telling you before is like weeks ago is like, I think Sports Talk Radio was making these trades up. And I was reading the Cleveland stuff and I'm going, the Cleveland beat writers aren't writing this. The Cleveland thinks it was like people were making up stuff.
Speaking of Cleveland, Emmanuel Clase, who I saw Bob Nightingale of USA Today pretty much say he thinks that's done, passing at a just 20% chance. Yohan Duran, the relief pitcher from the Twins, they only have it 30%.
Another
remember,
team that
3
doesn't
years
tend to-
under control. Griffin Jacks, the other reliever from the Twins, also at just 30%. Now, there's a lot of players that are higher. It's just they're not linked to the Phillies. Like Sandy Alcantara's at 50% from the Marlins, but the Phillies aren't in the market for a starting pitcher right now. Now, David Bednar, 70%. And they do have the Phillies as one of the teams that would be in on that conversation. Ryan Helsley, another player that we've talked about a lot, they have him at 80%. Taylor Ward, outfield. I'm just giving you the names that we've been talking about. Taylor Ward, 60%. Luis Robert Jr. is 50%. It should be 100. If you're the White Sox,
he's terrible.
You should just, at this point, move on, even if you get really nothing in return.
He's awful.
Adalis Garcia, outfielder for the Texas Rangers. He's at 50%.
No, that's not. By the way, are we out on him? Because I'm not.
I'm not out. No,
I'm not.
He's just not my number one option.
But he gets Kepler out of your team.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd be fine with that. And you're not giving up a big prospect for him.
That's why, Suarez, I don't think it's Suarez and you're done. You could legitimately get 2 bats here. You could
I don't think so.
Suarez and Garcia.
I don't think you're doing that.
No, because you're going to do 2
that.
bullpen arms. One of the bullpen arms
Yes.
is going to cost you more than Suarez.
You need 2 bullpen arms, and you need one.
Well,
bat.
you're going to get one, I think, of note bullpen arm.
Yeah, right.
You're not
but
getting
still
Bednar and Duran.
Well, remember,
but you need Bednar and someone else who's a major league pitcher.
Yeah.
I remember they're getting a bullpen arm in a couple weeks back.
And David Robertson, who did not look...
No.
Oh,
Alvarado.
sorry.
Yes. You're getting the cheater back.
Yes. Yeah, for the remainder of the regular
Well,
season.
you're going to need it because you're a game and a half out right now.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Cedric Mullins, 80%. The Phillies
by the way, another
all
one
these
don't
players.
need. Another one you don't need. Don't need another bad center fielder.
His walk rate's up this year.
Oh, that's
according to the article here.
What's he hitting?
217.
Jeez. Terrible. What's his on base? 305?
I
Something
can't
like that,
imagine
like
it's
he's
that much higher. Let me tell you what his on-base percentage here is,
I mean,
Johnny. His
come on.
on-base is 296.
Get out of here. Get him out. Don't even bring his name up.
I think that's below Marsh's even.
That's terrible.
And I'm not a big Brandon Marsh fan.
Well, Brandon, yeah, but
Brandon Marsh is 327 on-base percentage this year.
Yeah, but
Kid's on fire.
Cedric Mullins isn't going to run over one of his infielders.
That's a good point. That was I still can't believe.
It's ridiculous.
That ball was barely out of the infield.
It's ridiculous. It's unacceptable. It's instinct. None. No instincts.
What if it's Ward and Suarez?
Then say goodbye to your bullpen piece.
You're not getting any more than that. I don't know what you're doing then.
You don't
The
think,
lineup isn't the biggest issue
All right,
with this
hold on.
team.
Hold on. I'm not saying that it's not.
No, we'll hold on for Serriani.
Okay. Here you go.
Yeah, Jalen just is a guy that continues to improve. I think that's just how he's built. It's in his DNA to get better and to use, the good things that he does and get better from him, and use the bad thing, any mistake that he has to get better. That's what I always admire about him. I think he, just improves in every way. That's a great thing for your leader to have because that's all your goal is just to continue to get better, particularly through a season. I think he just does a great job. I think he's continuing to do a good job of going through his progressions and getting to the right guy with the football and getting to his third, fourth reads. As you see, the ball doesn't hit the ground very often in practice, and that's the way you want to see it.
Hey, talking to the players the last few days, it's clear the message of focusing on next year has gotten through. When you were deciding on that message, why did you decide to look forward instead of saying, you know what, we're going to defend our title, we are the defending Super Bowl champions?
Yeah.
What was it about going forward?
Yeah, I think that, nothing that you do in the past, now you can look back at your past experiences and learn from them, but no one, this isn't boxing where it's like you're the champ until someone takes your belt away. No, this is football. Everyone starts off 0-0. And I think two mistakes that you could make is, resting on your laurels or looking too far ahead, right? Thinking too much about the past, or looking too far ahead. I mean, that's been our mindset since day one, has been be where your feet are, be focused on that, because nothing that we did is going to influence anything that we want to do in the future. So it is about the daily work, regardless if you're coming off of, a 9-8 season, a 14-3 season, an 11-6 season, or a 14-3 season. It's the work that you put in that is going to get you ready for the games here. So we don't. Again, that's just been our mindset. I don't think anything's changed. I don't think that it's, hey, I decided to do this this year with this message. No, this has been the consistent message all the way through, and that's just where our focus is.
In terms of Jalen and how he's operating this offense, remember Kellen's deals, do you really wanted to clean up the operation?
I'm sorry, say it.
With the operation and how Jalen operates this offense, what's been kind of the mark of how you and Kevin have kind of approached that with what you're building here?
Yeah, he just goes about, again, it's about going to the right place with the ball. It's about getting everybody on the same page, right? No different than a linebacker on the other side. It runs through, he touches the ball every time, playing with good fundamentals. And, again, everything starts with his communication to the rest of the team, and then him touching the ball every time, every play, it's critical that he takes care of it. And, as a runner, with the handoffs, and then also as a passer. So I think he's doing a great job of getting to the right place with the football and really running the offense. Again, we're early through it, 3 days through it. And, but again, he's just going to continue to get better and better and better. And because that's in his DNA.
Jalen Carter hasn't been able to practice. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, he'll be out there today. So I'm not going to get too much into injuries or anything like that, but he'll be out there today. Looking forward to having him out there today.
Doesn't look like he's practicing. What happened there?
Bob will get you all the injury stuff. Don't have to do injuries right now. Not going to talk too much about that at this particular time. We'll look forward to getting him back out there, but was having a good start to camp. We'll see when he gets back in there.
Tyler Steen has gotten all the reps at first team right guard. Is there a plan to maybe, open up the competition a little more and play anyone else in there?
Yeah, everything's a competition. We're evaluating the 2s and the 3s as of right now. It's the same way we're evaluating the 1s, and we'll see. Tyler's done a nice job so far and has worked in there with the 1s through OTAs, and as training camp has started right here. And but got a lot of good pieces there that we feel like there's a good competition going on. And you guys don't get to see all the walkthroughs and some of that stuff where you mix and match guys differently, and but feel good about that competition. And Tyler's done a nice job so far.
A player like Makuba, who misses some time now, what do you need to see from him when he's not on the field?
Yeah, that's for us, we have to be very creative. Any player that misses practice reps, we have to be very creative in how we catch them up. There's a lot, and when you're in training camp, there's a lot of time. Every minute of everyone's day is accounted for, whether it's rest and recovery for the players, whether it's watching tape, in that time where they're resting and recovering, we're watching tape. So we have to be creative with how we do some different things. So that will be, we still get we'll look at walkthroughs as a big opportunity, extra meetings, extra focus there, extra walkthroughs with whoever we need to do that with. And so, yeah, it's our job just to make sure that anybody who misses time, they recoup those reps somehow, some way. And when they can't do it physically, it's got to be mentally in the film room and in walkthrough.
How much is a hot day like? How much is a hot day like today for the ones got coming up practice?
Yeah, it's good for us. We're always cautious of trying to keep the players safe in these conditions. So. That's where their preparation with their hydration and different things like that and their conditioning is going to come into play. But this is good for us to be able to practice in this heat. We're going to play in this heat. Everything that we want to do as a football team, as far as how we play with physical toughness, mental toughness, relentless effort, great detail together. It all starts with being in great shape. And so we've done some things that, every day there's a conditioning aspect to it. It just turns it up a little bit as the heat goes. And, we'll monitor as we go. And but this is good for us to be able to play in conditions that we'll play in early in September and in some hot states, as early in the season goes. So we'll use this as an opportunity. All these different things you can look at. We always want to embrace adversity and have that mindset at all times, because we know that a season there's going to be ups and downs. So we'll use this as a benefit to help our team get in better shape. And, because again, like I said, it all starts with being in great shape. If we want to play the way we want to play, it starts first and foremost with being in great shape.
With some tweaks in practice, you run that little bracket drill where the defenders underneath and over top. What's behind that, and what is it designed to do?
Yeah, good question. We were talking about contested catches. Devontae Smith and I were talking about contested catches, and he brought up a drill that they used to do at Alabama, and that was a drill. So, some of our Alabama guys had some old tape of it. Was able to talk to a couple coaches that had done that, and so it started as a contested catch drill that really is a good competitive drill to make an open field tackle, whether it's on the sideline, whether it's an angle tackle out in space. We want to do ordinary better than anybody else, right? So because those are the things that end up winning football games. I think a lot of people can get enthralled by look at this, how this play's drawn up and that play's drawn up, and that's very important. But at the end of the day, whether it's my son's football team, it's a high school team, whether it's a college team, winning football happens with teams that tackle better, the teams that take care of the football better, the teams that block better, the teams that take the football away better, the teams that block destruct better. So we focus on doing the ordinary better. And so we were pretty good in our missed tackles last year, but we wanted to take even a bigger step. And I think, that drill started off as a thought for contested catch, but also now it's something that we know is going to help us become a better tackling team. Again, like I said, all those things are what lead to the spectacular plays that we love and see so much on it. But it's you can't see, like, for instance, Saquon wins the ESPY for best play last year. Well, if you watch that, Jalen gets to his fifth read. That's an ordinary thing. The blocking up front, the double team that's happening on the nose, lane one-on-one blocking on the outside, all those things contribute to that. And so we understand. We just want to do ordinary better, and that's always going to be what wins football games. We also know that when you tackle as good as us, we did, and take away the football as good as we did, or that other teams are going to prepare for that. So we better be even better at tackling. We better be even better at taking care of the football. We better be even better at taking the football away. So those are the designs of all those different drills that we try to do and try to get better at those things, and not say, hey, we were a good tackling team, do everything the same. No, how do we get better at that? And if I want our team to continuously strive to get better, even when they're on top, like they were last year, then I better be doing the same thing as the coach. Your culture starts with your actions, and they got to see me doing the same things.
We get to see a decrease in the number of carries that Jalen has per game as a runner. Is that sustainable? Jalen Hurts carries the last first 4 years as a starter. He's had pretty much the same number of carries per game.
I think this is the same question you ask me every year.
Is it sustainable as someone that is 27 years?
Has been so far. And we'll continue to do the things that we need to do to win the games, because I'm sure, and I'm going to say the same thing to whoever asked me that question about Saquon. We'll rest them Monday through Saturday. I mean, I feel like I've answered this question a lot. We'll rest them Monday through Saturday. We'll get them ready for the game. We'll get them ready for practices. Hey, guys, hey, how you doing? And then we'll do what we need to do to win football games. And we're always cautious of Jalen with the schemes that we run with him to try to keep him as safe as possible. Now, it's still football, and there's still obviously a risk of injury at any time, but we're always thinking, first and foremost, when he carries the football, how do we keep that scheme safe to keep him out of harm's way?
John Campbell's case, what dictates when and how often he'll get first-team snaps with Zack Wheeler?
Yeah, open competition. We'll see how it goes. We're constantly evaluating everything. Like that tackling drill is an evaluation. The team reps, the individual, the walkthrough. We got the guys working in there right now, but that's fluid and that can always change. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. But everything's being evaluated at all times. And Howie and I talk every single day. I talk with the coaches every single day. On an off day, we're having staff meetings like everybody else in the NFL to discuss our team. That's the fun part about training camp.
Is it his health right now or his understanding of the defense?
Yeah, no, it's just where we are right now. And again, that's fluid and that can change. And again, not ready. We have a long time before I have to say, hey, this is who's the starter. We got a lot of great battles going on that are constantly being evaluated.
For you to find a backup center whose name is not Landon Dickerson this camp?
Yeah, I mean, Landon did a phenomenal job last year. He played as our center in the NFC Championship game, one of the biggest games, obviously, of our season, just because it was the next one and that deep into the playoffs. Again, we always look for versatility for our offensive linemen. Can they do different things? And, yeah, again, just looking for these guys to get better. We don't care who the backup is here. We just have to prepare, or who all those things will play out. We got to do what's best for the team, and the best guys will play. Whether it's, if we had something happen and Landon's the center, we got a lot of confidence in him, and now we're trying to build that with other guys, and we'll see how that goes. Thank you, everybody.
All right, there's Nick Sirianni's press conference live from training camp. You'll hear some reactions to it coming up next with the Mike Missanelli Show. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Johnny, we'll be back at it tomorrow on a Tuesday here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
To trade for some